saw Nearly Done over in Paris. Obviously, a lot of replays and such on NBC and all of those channels throughout the night. But it's been a good first couple of days, but also a lot of trades in Major League Baseball. So a ton to get into. Brett, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Brian. Away we go for another week, and this will be a very busy one. We've got a lot colliding this week, don't we?
Yes, no, it is definitely a lot, and I mean, try to keep up with one can feel overwhelming. You throw all of them together, and even more overwhelming. So it's
very difficult to keep up with.
Yes.
What do you think your TV watch time was this weekend? What got the largest proportion of the TV viewing pie?
Thank you, Darian, for laughing so loud that I could hear it in here and making me laugh. I would say Olympics probably took the bulk. I was in Nashville this weekend, so I'll be very honest. I did not watch much of
so not a lot of TV. Most of it was just passing by stuff?
Yes. I was able to watch the men's yesterday, but I mean, it was a lot of moving around over this weekend. So I tried to catch what I could, but it was definitely when I had time to watch something, I was watching the Olympics.
And I said it on Friday that I was really going to try to watch more than just basketball.
Sure, yeah.
I watch mostly basketball.
Well, it happens. When you know something and you feel comfortable with that sport, it's easy to go to that. And I found myself, because I said the same thing, and Saturday morning, I'm up, and obviously a lot of sports going on, and I think I was watching something. Oh, they were showing judo on one channel. I was like, I'll give it a shot. Judo's not my sport. Don't understand what's going on at all. Then
now, is it actually chops landed?
Brett, bad question to ask me, because I tried to watch it for
or do they kind of try to grade it like shooting?
I don't know.
Is it judged, or is it a scoreboard, or do
you pin them or something?
Walk the guy across the? Do you?
Yeah, it's something like pinning them or something. You get them on their side or their back or something.
I mean, do you go for the rib cage?
I don't know, Brett. I was trying to watch. I was trying to keep up with it. It really didn't seem like the people that
off the top ropes, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, even the people that were calling the game, I was like, do they really know what's going on?
No, Dave Brown saying, Lance, I think he's got a chain.
No chains anywhere, at least I saw. But I'm watching it, and I see something happen.
And Lance knew there was a chain because he had the script.
Correct. But we're not supposed to know that, Brett. But I'm watching it, and one goes down, and they're like, I think he's got it. And then they both pop up, and they were like, he won! And I was like, okay.
What'd he do?
All right, good to know. And then France started their basketball game, and I was like, okay, time to watch basketball. So I was in the same boat as you, Brett.
All right, here's my biggest Olympic takeaway.
Okay.
I can't stand the judge sports.
That I can definitely understand that.
I need me a scoreboard.
That is a very, very fair.
Too many variables. Too much.
Yes.
Too much human nature.
The triple axle toe loop doesn't
get
you.
Yeah.
I respect what they're doing.
Sure.
I know they've worked hard. I understand their prowess and their athleticism. I'm very much with the athlete.
Sure.
And I don't know how else. I don't know how you would have a scoreboard for platform diving.
No, that'd be tough. I mean, it's easy. At least
how
for
straight
me.
your toes are, Brett.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, your toes,
Okay, toes guide everything.
I watched a lot of water polo.
Oh, I love water polo. Water polo, handball. I watched a bunch of volleyball earlier today. That's fun. Well, and that's the thing, Brett, is
How about beach volleyball in front of the Eiffel Tower?
Chase Buttons.
Yeah, watch some beach volleyball. But I think the thing is, at least for me, when there's a scoreboard, at least for me, it's easier to follow because I can see, okay, they just got even if I don't know anything about the sport, I can see when they get a point and say, okay, they got that doing that. I can follow this. When it's judging, like Darian's saying, it's the toe. I would have had no idea diving's the toes. I would just be like, that looks pretty. I remember I was watching the trials with my girlfriend Melinda like a month ago, and they dive in. I was like, oh wow, that was beautiful. And she was like, well, no, they both, it was like a second off on when they both entered the pool, and their flips weren't kind of synchronized. And I was like, oh, okay.
In all honesty, I think it's how much splash when you hit. You're supposed to have minimal splash.
Yeah.
That means
and I know,
straight.
And I know human nature, I hope we don't have it. But at the end of this, if the Madagascar judge was on the take, I won't be surprised.
No, not at all. But it's been fun. I mean, I've enjoyed watching it. Right now we've got USA versus Japan women's basketball on USA, so I've got that on in here. Watching that a little bit. Actually, I had it on my iPad, so I have it on both my iPad and the TV in here. When we get to a break, we're changing the iPad. I don't know what else is going on right now in the world of the Olympics. We're finding something else to watch so we can have multiple sports going at the same time.
One thing I did fall in love with this weekend on DirecTV, on 205, which is normally it brings up like 6 or 8 different sports.
Okay.
All Olympics.
Yeah, the Sports Mix channel.
Oh,
yes, that's the Sports Mix channel.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Darren. That's right. 205. Like right now, you can have.
Tell me what we got going on right now.
Commercial.
Okay. Well, that's not great.
Rugby.
Oh, I do like me some rugby.
I think women's rugby, women's basketball.
All right.
Women's volleyball.
Okay.
And badminton. Badminton is going on as well.
That's badminton. That is badminton.
All right.
I didn't know if it was pickleball.
No pickleball in the Olympics.
No, is it not?
Soon. I don't know. It's getting very popular. I guess I'll pose this question to Darian because I feel pretty confident about Brett's answer. So I'll pose this to Darian. Darian, did you tune into Gold Zone at all over the weekend?
No, unfortunately, I didn't.
Oh, man. Brett, did you tune into Gold Zone over the weekend?
Do I have it?
Nah, it's on Peacock. Unless you have Peacock, but I don't think
I do not have it.
I told you, I think I was telling you, I downloaded the Paris Olympics app. So I've really been glued to the Paris Olympics app.
Yeah. Gold Zone's cool. I mean, it's exactly.
Well, he's great.
All of them are great. I mean, they're cycling through because I mean, it's like 10 straight hours of.
Well, he does it every Sunday afternoon. Doesn't take a break.
That's very true. But they're.
It's the same host.
It's Scott Hansen and Siciliano who used to
and
do
Siciliano
it. Both
from NFL Network.
That's right. Both of them are on there, and he did like the ultimate. Because a couple years ago, when Red Zone was not as kind of tuned in, they had multiple different like Red Zones you would get, and like some people would get one with Scott Hansen, some would get one with Siciliano, and so up until like last year when it went to YouTube TV. Now they're both on it on this one. It's really cool. I mean, they're just cycling through all the sports and, just taking you in. Like I was watching it earlier today and they have this little like icon in the top corner that says medal alert or something like that. And so, like watch this because there's going to be a medals handed out after this. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, 10 straight hours. So you can kind of keep up with all of it.
Darren, what's it do for y'all at Channel 5 putting you on so late? Is that harder, tough, or what?
Probably for their pocketbooks from an employee standpoint. But other than that, last night we actually went on time. We had a little bit of a condensed show. On Sundays, I normally have an hour-long show, so it was just down to 30 minutes. So we were kind of sandwiched. It was Olympics, 30 minutes of local news, and right back to it.
Yeah, because I noticed that because I was just watching on the Peacock app because I already had it pulled up watching something earlier, and I went to it, and then they ended, and I looked at the time, it was about 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh, they're going to the news, and then I saw like in the upcoming tab, it was like post-game Olympics at 10:35 or whatever. I was like,
was that scheduled, Darren, or did they alert y'all, hey, we're coming to y'all a little earlier?
Yes, that's scheduled. That was not earlier. Wow. We have not been postponed yet, but I have been told, because this is my first Olympics coverage on the television side. I've been warned several times that the bump is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That something is going to go long. Like you said, one of those strangely enough, one of the judged events. It won't be something with a time, obviously, but one of the judged events will go long and will be bumped.
Sure.
And I just don't know. There is right now sweeps ratings times.
Oh yes. Oh absolutely. Million plus ratings, and we're like, hey, what's the reason? I said, it's because of me.
That's right.
Well, of course it is.
Not because of the Olympics, because of me. But yeah, ratings are.
Never mind those 5 rings.
Yes. The ratings are absolutely through the roof.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And Brett, you said it last week, but all the Big Ten commercials and I mean everything you're seeing, NBC rolling all
NBA on the way back.
NBA, they've got the
Round Ball
music
Rock.
Coming.
They're playing Round Ball Rock
going to break. It's been
Who has the Super Bowl next year?
Oh,
is that NBC?
I don't know if that's NBC.
Well, if we haven't seen a Super Bowl ad, I bet it's not.
I was about to say it probably isn't because I haven't seen a Super Bowl. Like I've said, it's kind of been in and out for me watching, but I haven't seen
Super Bowl 58 in New Orleans. I'm not sure.
Super Bowl licks.
Yep.
Good times. No, but it was definitely a good weekend of Olympics. We'll talk more Olympics a little bit later, but Brett.
Fox, Britt.
Fox. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I doubt it.
Then,
Since we didn't
then you
see
won't
it.
hear a whisper
No,
about the Super Bowl.
NBC
Well,
has
Big
it the
Ten,
following year, 2026.
Oh, too bad. 1 year
Might
off.
get one
Maybe.
off the cuff reference,
Doubt
maybe.
It. Doubt it. Brett, trade deadline tomorrow
Tomorrow at 5.
afternoon, and it is already popping off. A lot of trades.
5
over the
Central or
weekend.
5 Eastern?
5
Central.
Yes,
Central.
that is correct. And the only reason I know that is because a couple hours ago I was listening to some guys that I guess cover the Dodgers went live on YouTube, and I was watching it, and they were like, "We're gonna be on here tomorrow afternoon at 3:00, and if the Dodgers don't make any more moves, we're gonna rip them." And I was like, "All right, okay."
How would you describe what the Dodgers are doing?
I mean, it looks like they're getting their eggs in a row, and I don't think this is going to be the big move, but
You're really close to saying it. Are they going for it?
it feels like it. Brett,
Are they all in?
Brett, I will say this trade felt like a trade building up to the all-in trade. I think we're going to see
Are the
another
Yankees
trade.
all in?
I haven't seen enough from the Yankees yet to say they're
Are
all
the
in.
Orioles?
Maybe.
But Ole Miss is supposed to be ashamed that they're all in.
That's right. Yeah, bingo, Brett. Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's because they're spending money and all that stuff that is legal now, but everyone
Yeah.
wants to act like it's not legal.
Isn't that something at deadline time?
that's
I've heard today all 3 of those. That's why I asked that.
Right.
That the Yankees are all in. All the
course.
Orioles are all in.
course.
The Dodgers are all in. They always are, aren't they?
Always.
And I'm
every year.
thinking, when are you not always all in?
Yes. Yeah. Let me know when a team's not all in.
Here's one that's
trying
not.
to accomplish
Tampa
that.
Bay. They're doing it again.
Yes,
They
they are.
waved the retreat flag, the surrender flag, and they're in the middle of it.
Yeah, and it would, and then
But they're going to run it all back again, as they always do.
No, you're absolutely right, and I'm excited. And obviously, I think if you look larger picture at the Rays, I think there was some situations that might have might have slowed down their track to success, and now kind of have to retool after that. And now I think we're going to see that.
I'm borrowing this from John Heyman that I saw about an hour ago on MLB Network. He said it, so I'm giving him all the credit. And when he said it, it was just me as a human projectile flying into the middle of the bullseye. There's just no doubt about it.
Sure.
What the Rays are doing, it's easier for them to do it than for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
You can do it in Tampa where nobody goes, nobody cares. They've never won at all with all this wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
You try the big sell-off in St. Louis right now. People they go down and storm the corporate offices.
But that's a really good point, and he's
It's
exactly
easy to
right.
do it there.
Very, because we always talk about nobody showing up to those games.
Nobody
They haven't
goes, nobody
had that
cares, and it's not the
success.
goofy
No,
bridge.
Exactly, and so you're absolutely right. They can do this, and nobody's gonna bat an eye at it. Reddit's gonna say, okay, Rays doing Rays things, and probably people are gonna think about it more positively because we've seen.
Try
what the
doing it in
Rays have
Boston.
done. Oh please, yeah, no chance. Try doing it in St. Louis, like you said. I mean, no chance. A lot of places in Major League Baseball. you can't do
Cardinal fandom it's not grumbling. I mean, as mad as I've ever seen them after giving up 24 Friday and Saturday night.
that. Oh yeah, no. I saw a lot of that on social media over the weekend.
And that was with your ace in one of them.
It was not fun. It was not a fun game to follow, and wanted it to end pretty much when it started, honestly. I mean, it was quick. Both of them were kind of quick starts, and I was tuned out shortly after, if I'm being honest.
We'll get to all the Cardinal deals in a little bit, but at least they made some moves. I think the addition of Eric Fetty helps.
Yeah, no, I like that move. I think he's been good this year for the White Sox, and I think
Can he pitch more than every 5 days?
no, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but
Got
he's been good.
big leaguer Tommy Pham back.
That's right. Wow, Tommy Pham, welcome back to St. Louis. Didn't think
And
I was
I
gonna
asked
say
this
that.
seriously.
Yeah.
Because remember a few years ago he had the vision problem.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Has it been corrected?
You would hope so, I guess.
I would think quite possibly one of the hardest things to do in sports is hit a baseball, a round ball with a round bat.
Absolutely.
With 20/20 vision.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want somebody that's struggling to see things, even a little bit.
It even has some issues picking the ball up off the bat in the outfield.
Yeah, no.
I saw him almost kill Luis Robert last week.
Yeah.
And it was clearly the center fielder's ball. Fam's in right, and he, way into center field. And it was the end of the inning, and they were going at it good running back to the dugout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's not the first time I've seen that involving Tommy Pham.
No teammate like Tommy Pham.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know which one I've seen more of, him almost colliding with other outfielders or him jawing at other players. Probably both.
And he's been with everybody.
He has. No, you're right about that.
Been with everybody a couple of times.
Yeah, I was about to say, your immaculate grid, Tommy Pham. Look out.
Just guess Tommy Pham and Edwin Jackson,
right,
and you win.
And you'll win. Let's. Oh man, there's Cardinals, Rays, Padres, Reds, Red Sox, Mets, D-backs, White Sox, back to the Cardinals.
That's Edwin Jackson,
man. That's a lot. I didn't love that pickup when I heard that was part of the trade, but hey, whatever.
He'll have a really big hit that we will be elated over.
That's right.
And you can get ready for that bottom of the ninth, looking at a third strike with base runners everywhere.
Yep. Get ready for it. It's coming. But yeah, we'll talk a lot about the trade deadline.
And I'm thinking, swing the bat.
Yes.
And he's going to talk and let you know it's not his fault,
That's
too.
right, exactly.
He's going to let you know it's not his fault.
He's going to be arguing it the whole time, saying it wasn't a strike.
Good chance for a dust-up with Ollie.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. So, no, a lot to get to when it comes to Major League Baseball. A lot of trades. A ton of trades over the weekend. Still more to come. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we're going to talk some Olympics, a busy weekend of Olympic events. Only 2 days in, I guess almost 3 days complete in Paris. We had some of the events before the opening ceremonies, but officially, since the Olympics have started, a couple days in, it's been really fun to watch. 3:45, we'll talk more NFL as training camps continuing to roll right along. And this Thursday is the big night, the Hall of Fame game. Very excited for that one to get some football back in our lives. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk some college football and college basketball. 4:30, we'll talk Major League Baseball. We will talk a ton about the trade deadline, what these teams are doing, the moves that have been made, and moves that still could be made. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Gary Myers, an NFL journalist, Hall of Famer, also an author. He'll join us to talk a ton of NFLs. That's right around the corner. Also, Hall of Fame game this Thursday. And
he's a voter as well.
Yeah, that's right. And so we'll talk a lot about Hall of Fame, NFL with him. He's also up in New York, wrote a book about the Giants that came out last year. So talk a lot of Giants.
Wrote a book about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and their dads.
Yeah, so definitely a lot to get into. I got to ask him. I know he's been tweeting about the new Hard Knocks with the Giants. So I gotta get his thoughts on what they're doing with Hard Knocks this year. So definitely be a lot of fun at 5 o'clock with Gary Myers. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here, and it's time to party. Head over to Family Leisure for great deals like the 24-foot above-ground pool for $19.99. Ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture, up to 50% off. Play gyms, up to $1,000 off. And patio umbrellas, 20% off. Also, 4-person hot tubs, only $29.99.99. And don't forget about the discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
From our Family Leisure studios, we're Sportstime, produced by Darian Newsom, and we want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line, and all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Lexus.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and special leasing options. Right now, Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be Major League Baseball trade deadline tomorrow afternoon. And we continue to see trades rolling in as a lot of these reporters, they'll tweet it out, this team just got somebody, and then you're going, okay, well, what else? What's included? What are they having to ship out? And then it's a couple minutes until they kind of figure it out and then tweet out the rest of the trade. But we've got a lot in the books. I know for a lot of Cardinal fans, the biggest one has been this 3-team trade, including the Cardinals, White Sox, and Dodgers. Cardinals get Eric Fetty and also Tommy Pham. They send out Tommy Edman, who has not played a game this season for St. Louis with injuries. He's close to returning. It's felt like he's been close and then kind of a setback and then kind of restart. But he looks like he's about to be back. He'll go to the Dodgers. Also, Michael Kopech, who the Dodgers get from the White Sox. In return, White Sox get a handful of prospects from the Dodgers. So very interesting trade. I like the idea of Fetty and what he can bring to the Cardinals, a guy that has gone 6 innings or more in 6 of his last 8 starts. So it's a guy that's going to be able to give you innings. He's a ground ball pitcher. You imagine the Cardinals will give him better defense than what the White Sox gave him, and so can maybe improve some of his numbers. But a guy that's been really good for that White Sox rotation this season, and we'll see what he can do for the Cardinals now that they've picked him up. Tommy Pham, don't love it. I guess if you have to include him in the deal, I'll take him. Some of the other...
he's been included in a lot of deals.
He's been everywhere, Brett. Some of the other kind of big-time trades that happened over the weekend, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Is going to the Yankees from the Marlins, and the Cubs maybe surprising some people as they pick up Isaac Paredes from the Rays to give them a big bat at third base.
It's a big 2025 move.
It definitely is, and definitely shows that, Cubs, maybe not this year, but, going into next year, they like what they've got and trying to add to make themselves a contender next season. So it's been fun. Obviously, a lot of big names still out there, and we'll see over the next about 26 hours what happens before we get to the trade deadline.
My top story, Olympics underway, and I've watched other sports, but the show is United States basketball. Made it look easy in first Group C game, a win over Serbia and Nikola Jokic. The Joker had 20, and as always, he dominated Joel Embiid. 6 USA players in double figures. You know you're loaded when Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton don't play a second. And after the game was over, Steve Kerr acknowledged that he felt terrible not playing Jason Tatum. He still hadn't mentioned Halliburton.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He apologized, Brett. That's what he did. He apologized.
Yeah.
27,328 in attendance. 2 different basketball sites, the bigger one and then the more basketball-only arena that they also play in. But 27,328 to watch that game.
Yeah, no, it looked good on television, sounded good. I think he might have forgotten about Halliburton. He might not know that he's on the team, but maybe next game.
And with 40-minute games, I'll defend Kerr that it's hard to get that many in there.
It absolutely is. And he said before the Olympics started that playing everybody, it sounds good, but if they're trying to win, he's not worried about playing.
Real quick,
everybody.
I know we're short on time. Do you like 48 minutes, or would you like to see NBA go to 40?
I think I like 48. 40 just seems so fast.
You can't charge those ticket prices for 40 minutes.
No, not at all. Things would have to change if we were playing 40-minute games.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be the Olympics. It's been a fun first 3 days of official events. We had some before and a lot of controversy. I've noticed, Brett, since the actual opening ceremony, everybody's been friendly with each other. Before the opening ceremony, we had issues. After, no issues. Maybe something to keep an eye on for 2028 when we're in Los Angeles. And that's another thing. I love the Olympics. I watch a ton of it. I wake up, earlier, which, as you know, Brett, is difficult for me. I wake up earlier so that I can watch more Olympics. At night, I'll watch the reruns and pull up, different things online that I can watch more of what happened during the day. But I am really excited, and I get excited every time I watch the Olympics. For 2028, when it's in America, and we'll have events starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning our time, and going through the day. You still will, but it will be a lot easier to watch live events than what it is now in Paris, where everything's starting, the first things in the morning are starting at 2 a.m. our time and kind of going from there.
I want safety throughout these Paris Olympics. Sure want it in 2028 when it's here. And I heard it was designated, even for Paris, as a special security concern for our homeland security and for our Secret Service. And, with a lot of the testimony about the Secret Service lately. And I was watching some of it last week, and I heard them ask the former director of the Secret Service if for, like, the Super Bowl and things like that, if they're designated Secret Service special events. And she said yes, through the Department of Homeland Security.
Sure.
Please tell me we send Roger Goodell a bill.
I would hope so.
I want everybody safe,
sure,
but I don't want Roger Goodell and the NFL showing a $9 billion profit not paying for the security.
No. You pay for security.
And I don't want the IOC getting it from the house.
Definitely.
My not top story, together again this weekend, speaking of the NFL.
Yes.
That's what they dubbed it.
Yes,
it almost felt like a church social,
How
didn't
was it? Was
we
it just as
bring a hot
friendly
plate
as
to a
usual?
potluck.
Oh, that's
it
great.
was so good.
Oh,
All of us
man.
together again, like a family reunion with the NFL and ESPN and the NFL Network with all-day coverage Saturday and Sunday, and I watched a lot of it.
Oh, man.
And I loved it. And then this morning, Good Morning Football back on NFL Network.
Yes. I love Good Morning
It's
Football.
Hall of Fame week when Good Morning Football is back.
That's
It
great.
begins. Love having football to keep up with.
Yo, it's beautiful. I'm so glad. I honestly think
Together again.
Oh, together again is beautiful. But I do think Good Morning Football is one of the best television shows, not just football related, sports related. I think it is one of the best shows in all of television. It is unbelievable. They have such a great crew.
It will
They do
be my
such a great
morning
job.
hot take TV from now until college football season starts.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the Olympics, what we saw over the weekend, what we're seeing today. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you own a business, you know Luttrell Belting keeps you moving. Luttrell has cost-effective belts, conveyor components, and 24/7 on-site service to keep you operating smoothly. Text are just a phone call away at 800-441-8946 or online at LuttrellBelting.com. Luttrell's Memphis plant stocks belting in nearly every size and finish, and if they don't have it, they'll make it. From ordering to selection, fabrication, and installation, your Luttrell sales rep is there for you. Luttrell Belting keeps you moving.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide and services to showcase your invention. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you won't find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Looking for an engagement ring that'll really knock her socks off? You need to be at Genesis Diamonds.
It's such a privilege at Genesis Diamonds for us to work with the world's finest designers, to be able to offer brands like Tacori and Verragio, and we're excited to be able to give you something really this time.
Genesis Vice President David Cooper.
The craftsmanship, the detail, the quality, the individuality is bar none better than anything else.
Genesis has been selected as an exclusive provider for every top designer from New York and California, with over 4,000 names to choose from. And if that's not enough, they can create something that's truly done.
Custom craft you literally anything you can imagine. We have the capabilities to realize any dream you have. Things that other stores may call new, we've been doing for 3, 4, and 5 years already.
So don't settle for a rebuild, style design.
You deserve. I'm David Cooper from Genesis Diamonds, and I'm excited to see you on the show.
It's extended.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack Sportsworthy and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios. We've talked a little bit about the Olympics over the weekend into today. Talk some more about it now. Right now, Team USA women's basketball team taking on Japan. They are up 96-68 with about 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So they're going to cruise to a victory in game one. It looks like all the starters have been on the bench for a while as they've got a great lead on Japan. But yesterday, Brett, we saw the men's team take on Serbia, a team that they played in an exhibition a couple of weeks prior. Game one, a little shaky early. Team was
real early.
Was very early.
Down 10-2.
And then after
Kevin
that,
Durant and LeBron James.
Kevin
cooking
Durant was
hot grease.
unbelievable. LeBron James, even at his age, looks like the best player on a court surrounded by all-stars.
And really handling the ball almost dominantly.
Yeah, and so they ended up cruising to a really good victory over Serbia. And I feel a little bit better about them after watching that game yesterday and hope they can continue with that intensity. But I will be honest, early in that first quarter, especially after those last two exhibitions, I was like, all right, let's wake up, guys. Let's get going. Finally, second quarter, that was really when it looked like, okay, they've clearly realized what's going on right now. They're back in it. Let's go. And it was pretty much on from there.
Brian, wouldn't you say through the years that I'm not too much on playing much about the referees?
You're very much so. You are not a ref complainer at all.
Here's my complaint.
Okay.
Not no harm. No blood, no foul.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes. It was getting physical out there. That's
But that's what makes it fun, Brett. It's the Olympics. It's a different style of play, just like we were talking about what rule will we change. That's a rule. Almost.
I don't know that I mind it, but it is very bump and grind. And
sure is.
And what that does, then it opens them, the referees, up to late in the game after you've let judo go on the whole game.
Wow.
Then you get something ticky-tack down the stretch, then that makes people wonder.
At least with the physicality of basketball, I can still know what's going on, unlike judo, where I have no idea what's going on the entire time.
It's a lot of contact, and
Oh, yeah.
you have to lay somebody out to get a foul called.
No, you
And
definitely
the games move
do.
so quickly
Oh,
because
they're
of
so
it.
fast.
Very, very few fouls called, and the 40 minutes,
Yep.
it rolls fast.
No, it definitely does, and that's you asked earlier about the 48 or 40, and it's just, man, watching these Olympic basketball games. I mean, they are over just like that, and I mean, even watching this game right now, the women's game, they're almost done. They got about a minute and a half left. It's 3:35 right now. They start at 2. You know how those games start. I mean, a couple minutes after 2 is when they're throwing the ball up, and they're almost done right now. I mean, they just go by so fast.
Halftime.
Oh yeah, halftime very quick.
You don't run to the back and maybe get retaped or other things and get back out there fast
That's right.
enough.
Yeah, I mean it is very quick, but it's fun to watch. And
For the first time in my life, I am to this point.
Okay.
For sure, college football and maybe even college basketball.
Okay.
For sure, college football. And I love the halftime shows. And I think the part of the fabric of high school and college football is the band. I love the band participants. I love the band parents. I know how hard they work. Got to get them on the field and off faster.
Yeah.
And we got to cut about 5 minutes off half times.
Yo, no, I'm with you on that. And I think that's a good idea. Like 5 minutes is not that much time. I mean, that's not saying let's cut it in half.
We can lop 2 minutes off college basketball halftime. Can't we?
Absolutely, Brad. I mean, it's both college football and college basketball.
Let's
halftime
go.
is
While we're young, let's play.
Way too long. Yeah, I mean, take a couple minutes off. That's not going to hurt anybody. I mean, that's fine.
And I know why they do it, because they want to sell those seats.
Sure.
But why do we have to put the bands in college at the furthest reaches of the stadium?
Yes, that's a good question. I don't.
Well, I know why. They want to sell those tickets.
You got to, Brett. I mean,
And it takes
business.
and it's moving an army
Sure.
to get them down there. With about 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to cut their performance
no.
at halftime. I want to cut some of the other things out of halftime.
I agree.
Again, the 1965 homecoming queens had her day.
I was just about to say a lot of ceremonies.
Thank you. We appreciate the service.
Yes,
You're hot in your day. You're probably hot into the 80s.
Yes.
But it's time to move on.
A lot of honoring people. A lot of game balls handed over.
A lot of together again feeling.
Literally, I mean, look who's back. Yes, here's a signed ball by coach or whoever signed it. It's
and
great.
you know my love of going to a game at Auburn.
Of course.
They introduce everybody in the stadium
Really?
at halftime.
Oh wow, love that. That's great.
I mean, if you didn't get a shout out at Auburn through the years, you had a no point.
Oh, that's awesome.
You had a 0 point.
Yeah, we can cut some of that out. We don't need all that. That's what the timeouts during the game are for, Brett, because we still do it during those breaks as well. So I mean, it's a lot of honoring people in college football and college basketball. Outside of basketball, what has been your favorite Olympic sport these last
Water
couple
polo.
days? All right, I like it.
And watching them and just thinking about what athletic
It's
specimens
impossible.
they
It's
are.
crazy.
And I don't know that I remember. Do you know how the game or the match begins?
They
The
swim
center
at
jump
it,
ball,
right?
right?
Yeah, well, they swim and fight for it, right?
Almost like the old
That's right.
XFL
Yes,
kickoff,
yes,
where you
yeah.
fight for.
That's right. Yeah.
And I didn't remember any of that from my co-ed water polo
Well,
days.
maybe a little different in
Very
co-ed water
different,
polo.
and no shallow end either.
No. You're
In this pool.
yeah, you're treading.
I mean,
water
they're
the
out there
entire
just
time.
bobbing the whole time.
Yeah.
I would go into a whole body
Oh, yeah.
cramp if
Oh,
that
yeah.
was me.
Well, my favorite camera in the entire Olympics is the underwater camera during water polo, where they're showing and they're just grabbing each other and kicking and fighting for position.
Oh, it's for keeps,
and I'm
isn't
like,
it?
holy cow! I could never in a million.
And you know where
years
they're
do
kicking
that.
at.
Oh yes. Below,
Right there in the old
below water
look
level,
out.
Brett. Yes.
Yeah. Right there below the equator.
That's right. Yes. So no, I really like water polo. I like handball a lot. Handball is a ton of fun. Very fast paced. Got to kind of Got to be ready to go when that match starts, but it's fun.
And I said it last week, the every 4 years appreciation of
That's right.
Rowdy Gaines.
Oh, man. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Rowdy Gaines could read a medical prescription to me, and it would sound good.
Yes. It's great. I mean, it's all of it. I think I love every second of the Olympics, every time we get it. And
I enjoyed the weekend. I did.
No, it was a lot of fun, and
it's a lot to keep up with.
It's a ton to keep up with.
Tell you something else. Unless it's the United States playing kind of in the immediacy, the basketball box scores are hard to find. And you said it last week. FIBA, just unplug your website. It is useless.
Is awful.
Worse than the PGA Tour's website.
No, it's one of the worst websites I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of websites, but it's bad. And you're right. Box scores are really hard. Thankfully, the first games have been a little easier because at least on Darian, you were talking about the Olympic app.
Yes, I have the
on the Olympic app. You can go to the game, you can click on it. But and maybe it was just I wasn't looking hard enough. I could not find an actual box score. I could go and click on each person, and it would tell me their averages, which was easy after game one because all their averages are just whatever they scored, whatever they did. But after game one, that's going to be it's going to be a little difficult.
Speaking of Olympic basketball scoring,
okay,
when we get to big number of the day. I've got a great one.
Really? Involving Olympic basketball?
Very involved.
Okay. I'm very curious now.
Well, we got breaking news. The women just won. So
How
they
about
have
that?
won 56 in a row. 56 in a row for the women.
Shout out the ladies. Love that.
Saw a great interview with Dawn Staley. She was the flag bearer when she played. And her interview with Mike, I think it was with Mike Tirico.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, I didn't get to see all of it. I saw clips of it and looked really, really good. Mike Tirico does.
He's been great. He's been great.
Incredible.
The best.
He's great.
I mean, he even has me following the dog. Speaking of Snoop Dogg, that interview he had with Snoop Dogg was great. He's like, follow the dog.
And ever since anybody having more fun than Snoop?
No.
Not a soul.
I don't know.
Not a soul.
Flava Flav with the
polo,
with the water the women's water polo team. He looks like he's having a good time.
Here's the bad thing about Flav's. Does he know anybody? His seats are always at the top of the arena.
That's what I was going to say. I think Snoop is getting at least the red carpet treatment.
Yes,
Snoop is getting red.
Flav's seats are always up in the nosebleed.
You got to give Flav some credit. I mean, what he like? He's sponsoring the women's water polo team.
I think he's like official DJ.
Yeah,
I think he's the official DJ.
He loves the women's water polo team. It's great. So,
yeah, but Snoop is getting to know the families. I think he's being a great patriarch over there. He's sitting with the families, showing the Simone Biles T-shirt. He's been great.
Let me be clear. Mike Tirico doesn't know me at all, but when I see him, he'll go, "How's everything in the egg bowl?" Because he did egg bowls for years.
Oh wow, that's great
on ESPN.
I love that. You're the egg bowl guy. That's awesome.
That's it.
That's great. Oh man.
I said, I always answer. Still fighting pregame and postgame.
That's hilarious. When I went home and was watching back on Friday the opening ceremonies, very early in the broadcast, Peyton Manning is talking on there and he goes, "Yeah, my wife and kids are down there somewhere with Snoop Dogg," and I was like, "Wow, how much fun are Peyton Manning's kids having just hanging out with Snoop Dogg?"
I'm told that Peyton took. I think the entire crew, except I don't know that Archie went, but I think he took his mom, all the kids.
Wow,
that's anybody
awesome.
wanted. There's no telling
Holy cow.
what his hotel tab is.
And they don't care. They don't care. Tom Cruise is there. I mean, they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah. This is
what's 10 nights at the Hotel Creole at $2,000 a night.
Wish I could say that. Yeah. Only Peyton and all the other celebrities up there. But no, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward tonight to watch NBC and see what they're.
Wouldn't it be good to get to a point in life?
Oh yeah.
Everybody wants to go to the Olympics. Go.
Oh, y'all want to go to the Olympics in Paris? Yeah. Let's everybody hop on. Let's get a jet and let's get out there.
Well, I can only go 4 days. However many days you want to go, let's go.
We'll
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah,
way to go, Peyton.
Hey, good for Peyton.
All right, right before we get off the Olympics, USA leads medal counts. We have 20 total medals. France second with 16, Japan Third place.
How many
12.
golds?
That was the question. Are you more concerned with total medal count, or does gold matter more?
Gold matters big time. Yeah, right now Japan is leading in gold.
Yeah, Japan. Well, and that's interesting because there's some websites you go to that sort it by gold, and then some that sort it by just total.
Yeah, this Paris app is
medals.
awesome. You can toggle it and drill it down however you need.
I like that. I think I like total medals.
Did y'all get up early Saturday morning and watch the newest Memphis Grizzlies player?
I did not. No.
Yuri Kawamura.
I did
all
not.
5'8" of him.
How was he?
Japan.
Did you watch him?
I did.
How was he? What's your? Oh wow, we got a whole scouting report from Brett. Let me know. What did we see? Small, I guess.
I don't think 5'8" to go a long way in the NBA.
No. I don't think so.
There's not a player under 6'1" in the whole league.
No, there's not.
No more Earl Boykins stat.
His running mate, his backcourt mate, 5'6". Little bitty guy.
Brian, we can take him. I think we can
I mean, hey, look, I don't know who I need to call. Team USA. I mean, holla.
The Grizzlies signed Kawamura to a Exhibit 10 contract.
right,
Give me a breakdown of an Exhibit 10 contract.
Oh, training camp. You can maybe sign to
Two-way
the G
with the
League.
hustle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it basketball's equivalent of a Rule 5 draft? That even basketball people can't explain it?
Kind of, but I think a little less meaningful than even the Rule 5 draft. So I don't think we'll be talking very much about him when it comes to Grizzlies.
Yuri Kawamura's going to be in camp.
Yeah, he will. But I won't be talking about him. I don't think we will.
Good player. I don't think he's big enough.
Yeah, I don't think he'll probably stay.
Big matters.
Yeah, I think we'll forget about him pretty soon. I hope he plays well. I'll have to catch him in his second game.
And if he made the team, very, very similar to when we had Watanabe.
Yeah.
The press that would cover him.
Yeah.
And it was the Watanabe brothers on the same team.
Really?
For Team Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Good for them. So that's a lot of fun. No, I've really enjoyed watching the basketball. The basketball's been good. Seeing a lot of guys that
it's been great.
were in the league.
Are you noticing the court is different? I mean, I know you highlighted it to me. Are you now noticing it? I am now that I know it.
Yeah, no.
Brett, I wanted to give you that. You were talking about safety. Do you see how they have the media behind the partitions?
Yeah.
There's no one sitting there crisscross applesauce or anything like that. They're behind the partition.
We got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to do it.
Absolutely.
Instead of people, jaw getting planted into the camera well.
Well, and,
and for those videographers, for their
absolutely.
safety.
I think it was, I don't remember if it was the USA game or if it was the France game. One of the games that I was watching over the weekend, a player kind of fell into the board. Everybody was fine. Everybody was good, and just get up, fix them. And
NBA, it'd be 10 minutes sorting everybody out.
Exactly. So I'm definitely a fan of that.
It's an unfortunate injury, but I guarantee you Paul George's injury had something with him
no
trying to not run into the media,
for sure.
trying not to get hurt.
For sure. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some NFL. We'll get a recap from Brett of the Come Together weekend that we had all together, whatever they want to call it, over the weekend. We'll do all of that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When we say that Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar, is cool, we're not just talking about the temperature. Now, it is very cool in Bell Tavern this time of year, but it's also just straight up cool. The atmosphere is cool, the employees are cool, and the customers are cool. Bell Tavern isn't for people that feel compelled to act out whether their team is winning or losing. It's for people that act like grown-ups, cool grown-ups. That means if you go to Bell Tavern, you're cool. Lots of people go to big chain sports bars, but you could be one of the people that goes to Bell Tavern. That's cool.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
The secret to getting endless hot water at home. Go tankless with Navien. Navien tankless water heaters provide endless hot water for spa-like comfort. How? They heat water on demand, right when you need it, instead of wasting energy by storing it in a tank, which means you get instant hot water that never, ever runs out. Right now, save hundreds on Navien tankless water heaters with local rebates. It's easy. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
It's rainy season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sportsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And Brett, you said it. You watched a lot of Come Together Weekend, All Together Weekend, We're All Family Weekend in the NFL. How was it? Tell me, give me your book report on it.
Just a big happy reunion.
Right.
I loved all the interviews. Aaron Rodgers was really he was really compelling. Matt Stafford was great. Every player they got over to him, and it wasn't just scripted, kind of cliche filled like it is in the locker room. They're at ease.
Good.
And I'm sure they were probably asked by the league and various PR departments to play along for Together Again weekend.
We're all going to be nice. We're all going to have fun. We love each other.
Only the NFL can monetize practice.
Oh, man, it's incredible. I mean,
can make money off, can sell tickets of people going to. Of course, I can't watch and enjoy the Steelers practice for trying to find Bo standing over on the side covering stuff.
Well, I shouldn't tell you this, but you're about to have the same problem with the Lions now that Johnny's up there. You're going to be looking all over and trying to find
I was trying
Johnny.
to text with Johnny Saturday and hadn't heard anything back from him.
Oh man, he's been posting stuff from camp. Very busy now that camp's opening up.
Very busy, and had Dan Campbell on. That was the best interview of the weekend. Was Dan Campbell?
Yeah, no, I believe it. Dan Campbell's great, and so anytime I see an interview with him, I try to watch. He's really good.
They asked me any regrets on how last year ended. He basically regrets. We had the Detroit Lions in the playoffs.
What are the regrets to that? I mean, that sounds like a pretty good season to me.
Yeah.
Maybe not Super Bowl, but hey, it's building towards something. So
I saw a great interview with Brock Purdy.
It's good. Sounds like a great weekend. That sounds like a come together weekend. How about that?
And you could really learn watching it. Now the injuries for Sam Williams for the Cowboys was tough, and I think this was going to be a big year for him to see if he could really get it done in the NFL. He's been a little inconsistent, and now the whole season's wrecked.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were excited. Obviously keeping up with a lot of the Cowboy stuff, social media, blogs, websites, that sort of thing. A lot of people were excited what he could do this year, and obviously, to have an injury, a season ender like that this early, even before you get to a preseason game is a killer for anybody, and so I hated to see that. And there have been other injuries kind of out there in the NFL that you just hate to see them at this point, really when camp's getting going. But Thursday night, we'll have football back. And,
we always have those injuries, though.
We do, and, I hate it. It's sad, but, it's part of the game. And,
it is.
At
5 o'clock when we visit with Gary Myers, we'll, of course, talk about this year's class that's going in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And the ballot for this time next year.
Yeah.
The slam dunk for this time next year, I'm going to ask him, is he the slam dunk?
Okay.
I think it's Adam Vinatieri.
Huh. Well, yes, that would be pretty slam dunk, I would say.
If he's not, it's probably Antonio Gates that was on the ballot this year.
Yeah, that one feels extremely close as well. But there are going to be some good ones. But Vinatieri definitely seems like can't miss, slam dunk, whatever reference you want to use. Home run, whatever other sport reference you want to use.
Seven people going in this year: Dwight Freeney, Randy Gratishard, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Steve McMichael, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis. A very defensive class.
Very defensive. A fun class when you go through some of
Andre
those
Johnson,
names.
the lone real offensive player. Devin Hester's going in for his
Sure.
kick return
prowess.
People up for first time next year. Eli Manning, Marshall Yonda, Joe Staley, Adam Vinatieri, and from last year that didn't get in, Eric Allen, Willie Anderson, Antonio Gates, Torrey Holt, Fred Taylor, Reggie Wayne. I'd say yes to every one of those. Eddie George, and some longtime veteran players, Ken Anderson, L.C. Greenwood, Roger Craig, and coaches Mike Holmgren and Mike Shanahan.
Wow.
I would say yes to everybody I named. But they all can't get in.
No, that's the unfortunate thing about the Hall of Fame is you gotta cut it off at some point, and it makes it tough because especially when you start talking about fandom and just watching these guys play and any sport, not just the NFL when it comes to Hall of Fame, but baseball and basketball. You look.
Well,
at
now
the
baseball's
names.
different. That's getting into the pearly gates. We know that. Baseball.
Of course. I mean, they keep that locked tight. I mean, but no, it's tough when you look at it in fandom because you love all these players and you remember them all being so great and so trying to get in there. But it is gonna be fun. And about an hour from now, when we talk to Gary Myers and talk about this class, talk about next year's class, and talk some NFL, that will be a ton of fun. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, our buddy David Cobb from CBS Sports, he'll join us, talk a lot of college football, some college basketball as well with him. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quicky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
All 650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 794066, MSRP 21820, Telluride RG 543,666, MSRP 39835, EV9 R602 29603, MSRP 61035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock.
I got Jeff Allen on the line, Dawson Kia, southbound Mariah. Hey, dude, you ready to rock our world?
You better believe it, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride S, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite, or get 0% for 48 months, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month leases.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still moving right now. I-40 West over here at the Hernando de Soto Bridge, headed back over into West Memphis throughout Arkansas. There's been some radar on and off today, headed out towards Forest City on the interstate. Be careful. It's not bad actually right now in the construction zone 55 northbound between McLemore and South Parkway. At times throughout the day, it has gotten a little bit slow over here. We're keeping a close eye on it. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub. Curbless shower conversions. HavenlyShowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and about to talk to David Cobb, working to get him on the line, and plenty to talk about when it comes to college football and college basketball. Obviously, we had a lot of media days the last couple of weeks, really last 3 weeks. They're all kind of stacking on each other, and with SEC media days a couple weeks ago. Last week, we had Big Ten and ACC. American was earlier in the week. So we'll definitely have to talk a lot of college football. Also, the big news from last week of the scholarships going up. Definitely interested to see what David has to say about that, because both his sports now getting more scholarships in college football and college basketball. I've seen a lot of people national sports writers kind of talking about what that will mean for both college football and college basketball. And it's going to be interesting. A lot of change coming to the world of college sports. So definitely excited to ask David both those things. But we're getting closer, Brett, to college football season. It's getting exciting.
We are 22 days from until the start of college football. That's week 0. And the big game that day is going to be FSU and Georgia Tech in Dublin. And it's not a great – there have been better week 0 schedules and lineup than that one this year. But we will have that game early that day, and that's where game day and the crew will be going.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be fun. And you're right about the week 0. It's not the best slate, but at the end of the day, it's college football. I'm going to watch it. I know you're going to watch it. There are going to be a lot of people that watch that week 0 slate just because it's college football, and I don't blame them at all. And so, getting that game in Dublin, I know it's it's different because it's in the different country, and so that draws a lot of people to watch it. So I'm excited about that slate, and then right into week 1, and where Thursday night you've got a pretty packed slate of games. Friday you got a couple games, then obviously Saturday you get everything kicked off.
You're going to have FSU fans there in Dublin that won't be pleased with the ESPN game day set. They won't be pleased with Kirk Herbstreit, and they won't be pleased with Nick Saban because they felt like FSU was improperly treated last year.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, the kind of reaction from
That's
Florida
a long way
State.
to go to get a lot off your chest.
But somebody's going to do it, Brett. You know how it happens. But you're right. I didn't think about that of, there are going to be times this year where Florida State's on these ESPN networks or on game day or whatever, and for whatever reason, Florida State has not had their chance to kind of really let ESPN know what they think about not being in the college football playoff. And so I'm sure they'll let it be known, and that will be a great opportunity in Dublin. Maybe, a little vacation, having a little fun, go to game day, and then, let them know what you think.
Yeah, we're having trouble catching up with David Cobb, and that's rare for us to have trouble with David. But we'll keep trying. I texted him earlier, and he was all set to go. Practice really ready to get started for everyone at some point this week into early part of next week. And we're getting ready for the lead up to college football with the practices beginning. And for everybody in practices, just do no harm, get nobody hurt.
That's right. Yeah, and you're seeing less and less full padded practice and fully taking guys down.
Even the scrimmages.
Oh yeah.
Even when they're so called getting after it.
Exactly.
I mean, you just don't go to a practice and ever leave thinking, I was just something that it's just not humanly possible to go through. They just don't have those.
No, you
don't have the time. They don't go twice a day.
No.
Now they meet and they're around the building all day. Very pro style now.
Sure, absolutely. But when it's out there, you just can't risk the injuries and the timing and kind of everything that goes into it. But you're right, we're getting practices underway, and so we're about to really get these good looks and of what these teams will look like, and a lot of these places, college football. It's interesting how it's gotten because a lot of these places now are these coaches, they're very guarded of media and different things around the programs, and so some places give a lot to the media, and so you get a lot of reports from practice and leading up to the season. Then other places, it's nothing, and you kind of got to wait till week 1 when you actually see the team play to really know much about what the team will look like this year.
The end of Big Ten media days, with it wrapping up, and the 18-team Big Ten, they're just like the SEC. It's a matter of how many spots for them in the playoffs, and we will see if there's any room for anybody for 2 losses. The talk of a 3-loss team in the playoffs, no way.
No. There's just too many good teams out there that 3-loss, I don't see a world where you've got a 3-loss. 2-loss, I can see it. Certainly, 1 loss undefeated, you feel really, really good about it. I just don't see 3 losses. And you mentioned both those conferences. We did our early college football playoff predictions on Saturday, or excuse me, on Friday. And I had several. I think I had. Trying to remember. I know I had 3 in the Big Ten. I think I had 4 in the SEC. So I feel like those 2 conferences are going to lead the way in terms of how many teams they get in there, and then obviously those other 2 power conferences are going to kind of fill in after that. But you're absolutely right. There are going to be, I think, in both those conferences, probably 4, 5, 6 teams, maybe even more than that. That you go into the season looking at them saying, this team could, if they, catch some breaks here and there, they could definitely be in the college football playoffs.
Now, at large teams, some of those conference champions, they could have, they could conceivably be a 9-4 team.
Sure. However it comes, if if Big 12 is usually the one that gets kind of weird, and
it did last year.
It sure did. I mean, you could see Oklahoma State come out with 4 losses, but they won the Big 12 and be the 4 seed.
But I don't think it will be that many, but it could. Then if they have that many, will they be one of the top 4 seeds?
Yeah, it's a good question. Still that's part of kind of the unknown, right? Of what college football will look like this year, with all of the new changes. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of keep up and kind of see how everything changes and how everything plays out this year and kind of year one of this new era of college football.
Friday, I had 5 from the SEC, 3 from the Big 10, 2 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 12, and 1 from the AAC being the Memphis Tigers being the group of 5 team represented in the playoffs. I didn't, and we'll divulge this as we go on with the month of August, I could pencil whip it to where, and I didn't though, I have the 5th SEC team with 2 losses. There's a scenario, and it's not wild, of 5 one-loss SEC teams going into the SEC championship game.
Wow.
Then the question that would be asked at that point, would a loss, somebody's going to lose,
sure,
what does that do? I mean, if you're 11-2, but you were 11-1 regular season, and you lost in the conference championship game, how far do you go back?
That's a great question, and the only answer I have is no matter what happens, there's going to be a mad fan base somewhere.
Sure will be.
One way or the other.
Same could happen in the Big 10.
Definitely could. Wow.
And ACC and Big 12 as
Certainly.
well.
No, you're right, and so
you would be punished by going to Atlanta.
You would,
or going to your championship game.
Yeah, and I remember you bringing that question up to a guest, I think, during SEC Media Days, and kind of, what happens if X team in the SEC plays so well and catches this break and that break that they get into the SEC championship, but then they lose in the SEC championship, and that pushes them out of the top 12 if they were in the SEC or if they weren't in the SEC championship and only had 2 losses or 1 loss. I think they'd probably be in, and so who knows what happens in the future when it comes to conference championships.
And I shouldn't have to, but I'll be glad to explain it, that all conferences aren't created equally.
No. Especially not anymore.
A 2 or 3 loss team in one league is better than the MAC champion going undefeated.
That's right. Yes, it's better
than
Liberty going
I'm afraid
undefeated.
I'm going to have to explain it.
Yes, I'm afraid you probably will as well. It looks like we have David Cobb with us now. David Cobb from CBS Sports. He joins us every single Monday afternoon, talk college football and college basketball. Hey, David, how's it going? Please tell me that you were so busy watching France and Norway playing handball that you just missed the call.
Boy, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Land Between the Lakes, but let me tell you, the cell phone service at Land Between the Lakes is not very good. And
that's okay, David.
Anyway,
we'll take you any way we can get you.
Yeah, I spent some time up in Paducah this weekend. I was playing golf with my grandfather, and so on the way back, Siri gets an imagination of her own, and she sends you off on all different sorts of back roads. And so anyway, I've been sorry about that. But anyway, I'm here now. No, Brian, I have not been watching handball.
That's too bad. That's a shame. Well, at least for you, it was Siri that made the mistake for you. This weekend, I went up to Nashville, and I had the great idea in my head of, there's construction, 1 lane closed on the highway. I'll just try to take a back road around the highway where they're doing the construction and then get back on the highway, turned a 3-hour drive into almost a 5-hour drive back home from Nashville. Not fun yesterday afternoon, so I feel you on that one, David. I'm here for you.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, if you have the time to take a scenic route, like, I'm a big fan of Highway 70.
Me too.
I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
But I never have time.
Right. Well, yeah, Highway 64 is nice.
That's right.
But, the reason they built the interstate system is to make our lives easier.
That's right.
The next thing I want them to do is I want them to widen I-40 across the state to 3 lanes in each direction.
No, that'd be nice.
Because you just get stuck behind these tractor trailers sometimes.
Coming soon to I-40 Little Rock to Memphis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, that would be nice. I mean, maybe when I'm the TDOT commissioner one day, I'll get that going. But I guess all I can do now is complain about it.
That's all right. Well, I guess plenty to talk about, David, but I want to talk about the new more scholarships to every sport in the NCAA. Football is going up, basketball is going up to 15. I'm curious because I've heard so many people talking about this and what this will mean to college athletics. It feels like everybody has a different opinion about how this is going to play out, specifically in those two sports of college football and college basketball. Now you can also give partial scholarships. I've seen people say that, well, they'll give the full scholarship to the 5 stars and then they'll kind of fill the rest out with partial scholarships. How do you think this is going to affect both college football and college basketball going forward?
Yeah, so in college football, I think one of the things that is really going to be different about this new scholarship structure is that it really does kind of eliminate the place of walk-on.
Yeah.
You can still have them if you want to, but for every walk-on you have one less scholarship guy, essentially. So if they're going to put the roster limit at 105, you can have up to 105 scholarship players. But you can't have more players on your roster than 105. And so if you want to have a walk-on, you're reducing that number from 105 for every walk-on that you have. So no power conference program is going to have a walk-on. I think the biggest boost, I guess, is going to be not that they need it, but think about SEC baseball program. They're going to be able to scholarship 30 guys, and they're going to have the resources to do that. Meanwhile, all the other different baseball conferences, they're not going to have the ability to put 30 baseball players on scholarship. And so it's only going to make the SEC that much better in baseball than the other leagues. And the SEC is already miles ahead in baseball. So that's one thing that I see that probably doesn't get talked about a whole lot because it's not basketball, it's not football, but I think the SEC's dominance in baseball and in baseball recruiting will only grow as a result of this.
Who gets the advantage in college basketball?
That's a tough one. I'm trying to figure that out. Trying to think through that because there's only until they expand basketball to where it's 8-on-8 or 10-on-10. There's only so much use for scholarship guys number 11, 12, and 13. And so I don't know who gets the big advantage in basketball because the more you try and hoard, it's not like football where most of the time it's not, where when February and March roll around, you've lost a third of your roster due to injury. I mean, that does happen from time to time in basketball, but I don't know. I mean, do you have an opinion on that, Brett? Who do you think benefits maybe in basketball?
I don't think there's any beneficiary of it, but because how you stated it. Yeah. Because, David, we've already heard John Calipari say, I just want me 7 or maybe 8 guys.
Right. Right. And football is such a different beast, though, because this is going to allow teams to just even over-recruit and over-sign more than they already do in college
like
football.
They used to, when people used to shelve players.
Yeah.
And then it's also going to mean there's going to be more transfers because there's already a lot of transfers when there's only 85 scholarship players. Now you add another 20 scholarship players, and all those guys think they deserve playing time too. But football is still 11-on-11 until they make it 18-on-18. There's not going to be room enough for 105 guys to play.
It's going to create more roster upheaval, David, because that player, say, week 4 or 5 of the season, you get to 15th of October, and you look at the depth chart, if they have any, or you look at practice run time, and you're not getting any, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to create more outbound transfers. So I think what it means is that you're going to see even more three-star prospects signing with your power conference program. And then you're going to see your group of 5 schools taking even more power conference transfers in the offseason to the extent where an AAC program may end up in a situation where half of their roster is Power 5 transfers who are looking for a place where they can come and play. I mean, that could very realistically be a byproduct of the scholarship expansion.
I saw earlier today one of your colleagues, Matt Norlander, was kind of talking with other people on Twitter about this exact thing and how it applies to college basketball. And he said men's basketball is going to 15, and I'm telling you, I will be stunned if I see a single high major program hit 14. The plan broadly will be to fill 11 scholarships and the other 4 to be walk-ons. I know Brett said that's kind of, John Calipari, even before this came out, kind of said he wants 8 or 9 scholarship guys.
Hosses, and then practice guys.
Yeah, quote-unquote scholarship guys, and then kind of the rest be just filling out the roster. Do you think that's kind of closer to how it will look than we're just going to have 15 dudes on our roster that are all going to be contributors and they're all meaningful? Do you think it will be more like, okay, you might be on a scholarship or we're not giving you a scholarship or whatever it might be, but you're going to be a developmental guy. You're going to sit. You're not going to be a guy that we're playing, but sure, here's a scholarship for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, there are going to be what we used to refer to as a preferred walk-on is now going to be a scholarship only. Yeah. I think that term might start to be used.
Interesting.
Scholarship only guy, which means, hey, he's on scholarship, but he's not making NIL money. And so, but that could be a benefit for some players. Like some of the 3-star guys, let's take, for example, a Joe Cooper, right? He was on the Memphis basketball team recently, but he wasn't quite to the scholarship caliber.
Right.
Well, if you have 15 scholarship spots now, you can put that guy on a scholarship and not have to worry about him taking the spot of somebody you really have to sign. And he gets his school paid for, but he's not making anything in NIL. So you're reserving your NIL budget for those 7, 8, 9, 10 guys who you really want to invest in. So in some ways, it's just sort of reordering the deck a little bit. But I do think in football, you will see coaches try and sign 105 legitimate, like traditional scholarship level players. And that's just going to lead to an excess of transfers on that side.
David, I think the Ryan Day hot seat stuff is a little bit crazy, but if he lost for a 4th straight year to Michigan and then lost in the Big Ten championship game and somehow didn't make the playoffs, it feels a little bit like they have they might make a change, and they've got some people warming up in the bullpen, like Vrabel, like Mike Vrabel.
Can you imagine? It comes down to the boosters, doesn't it? If the boosters decide that after a loss to Michigan they just can't stomach it anymore, it won't matter what Ryan Day's overall record is, and it won't matter if Quinshon Judkins is in the Heisman Trophy conversation. It'll matter what the boosters want. And 4 straight losses to Michigan is going to have a lot of those boosters looking to make a change. So, but the 12-team playoff gives him a little bit of a cushion because he could lose to Michigan and then get into the playoff and maybe end up playing against Michigan again. So that's going to be interesting to see how Ryan Day is handled this year, because I think in years past you might have pulled the trigger on somebody after a conference championship game, but now you can even maybe lose that conference championship game, still make the playoff, and then, all bets are off because you might be able to make a run once you get there.
Yeah. David, last thing for you. I know I don't remember if we talked about it after SEC Media Days when Kirby Smart talked about how he's fining players NIL money through the collective with a lot of these tickets and things that they're getting. Now we see another Georgia player in the news for all the wrong reasons. Ra Thomas arrested late last week. Brett and I have kind of talked about it. Feels like the only thing that can hurt Kirby and his legacy is this off-the-field stuff with his players, with the law situations, the arrests, all of that sort of thing. How much does that worry you when it comes to Kirby Smart? And on top of that, what do you think about the idea of fining guys NIL money? Is that something that you think can work? Because Brett and I have talked about it. It feels like some of these players could say, you're not going to take my NIL money for this. What would you make of his comments?
Yeah, if the NIL collective is docking your paycheck, that sounds like something that an employer would do. and this isn't supposed to be
That's right.
employee, that type of relationship. This is supposed to be sponsorship deals and branding deals, and you're right. But if it's written in the contract, then they're legally allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It's just when a court looks at it, are they going to say, "Oh yeah, this is a sponsorship deal or this is an employment arrangement"? Because if there's behavioral stipulations on your sponsorship, that seems a little bit more like an employee relationship. But I do think this is affecting Kirby Smart's legacy because it's so prevalent and it's so common now.
It's in the first sentence every time with it.
Yeah, he's turned a blind eye to this. So I guess they call this the Fulmer Cup, where whichever program ends up with the most arrests, they win the Fulmer Cup, which is a nod to Tennessee's days as I guess they had some jailbirds on their roster under Fulmer in the early 2000s. So I think Georgia and Kirby Smart are winning the Fulmer Cup right now, and if they keep it up, they're going to have to rename that thing the Kirby Smart Cup because
the difference between then and now is we had a little more sensitivity to kind of all the things that go with college athletics. There's nobody out there that's surprised by anything that happens now.
Yeah, it's not like there's these illusions of these guys. We know that they're not there to be students. We know that they're not there to because they love the campus architecture and because they love the professors and they love
take their girl out for pizza.
That's right.
Sure, it's a business. It's professional football with college uniforms on, but by that same token, think about the standards of behavior that you have in the NFL. It's within the collective bargaining agreement, there are certain rules for how you must behave. Franchises actually tend to take those things seriously, but we're not seeing that right now in college football.
Yeah, it's definitely weird to see. But David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, especially on your back roads. We appreciate you getting on with us.
Thank you, David.
We'll talk to you again next Monday.
Yeah, I'm back on the interstate now. Good talking to you, fellas. I'll talk to y'all next week.
Thanks, David.
You got it. Be safe. David Cobb with us every week talking college football. And one of the big differences with kind of the adjudication of punishment and fining, the NFL has a commissioner.
Oh, yeah.
There's no commissioner of college football.
No.
And that commissioner of a league in college football, they don't want to hurt their member institution.
No, not at all. And so it's a weird spot that they're in, and we've talked about it, but it's not a good look for Kirby or Georgia that this continues to happen. It feels like every other week, it feels like you have another story about a Georgia football player. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, the weekend was full of trades as we are getting closer and closer. Now about 24 and a half hours until the trade deadline tomorrow afternoon in Major League Baseball. A lot of deals already have been made. Some names still out there that we think could be dealt. So when we come back, we'll talk all about trade deadline and Major League Baseball. That's next on Sports Time.
Maybe you've driven by Sunrise on Jefferson or Sunrise East on Poplar and seen the full parking lot and thought you didn't want to have to wait forever for your breakfast or lunch. Well, here's the thing. At both Sunrise locations, their goal is to get you your order fresh and made just for you in 5 minutes or less. Sometimes they may not meet that goal, but the important thing is at Sunrise, they're trying to, because Sunrise only hires people that actually care about the customers. Whether it's breakfast or lunch, Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise on Poplar are doing their very best to give you the very best.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
It's the season for fun, sun, and savings at the Volkswagen Savvy Summer Sales Event. Going on now at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, and I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the phone to give you the lowdown.
Randy, I've got the 2024 Taos SE, $299 a month, 36 miles per gallon on the highway. 2024 Atlas Peak Edition, $5,000 off or just 0.9% APR for 60 months. And the new 2024 Tiguan's $3,000 off or just 1.9% APR for 60 months. And the list of savings goes on and on at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused.
Summer fun has begun. Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, or online at GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there. To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
It's rainy season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready. In jeans made for the upright. Ready for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
All right, Brett, trades are going down. We need to talk about it. I actually have to thank you. Hour and a half into the show, I haven't even thanked you yet, so thank you. You have no idea why I'm thanking you, so I'll tell you. This afternoon, I never do this, but you know how I'm on my phone all the time. I have my phone always handy with me. I sit my phone down on a table. I go to another chair. I'm sitting down, getting ready for the show, doing prep work. All of a sudden, I get a text. Cardinals are making deals. I said, whoa, what's going on? And so I have to pull up, because I'm lazy. I didn't want to get up out of my chair. So I have to pull up Twitter on my computer to try to figure out what's going on. And I was like, holy cow, the Cardinals are making moves. Not only are the Cardinals making moves, they're making moves with a player that has not played yet this season, sending Tommy Edman to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I told you earlier I went and was listening to a live show, podcast, whatever it was, of Dodger people talking about this trade, and a lot of people in the chat that were Dodger fans were not happy that they got Tommy Edman in this trade.
He can't play. He's 60 days from being 60 days.
That's right. But that's not why they were actually mad, because I don't think they were as up to date on his injury status as we are, because you're right, it has been a lot of setbacks. But yeah, they're not huge fans of Tommy Edman, the player. So Tommy Edman
and
out.
Brian, I said it when he was with the Cardinals. Exactly. Other than Swiss Army knife, other than being kind of Ben Zobrist, what's he really excel at?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I mean, a guy that finds ways to get on base, but you're right. It's the kind of Swiss Army, can play a lot of positions. I know.
Exactly what position?
The Dodgers are going to
Where do you put him and stick him at?
The Dodgers are going to use him a lot in center field, is what I've been seeing a lot of.
Center field?
Yeah. And I think I would be a better center fielder than the center field production they've been getting this year. It's been a revolving door, and it's not been very good. So I think they're going to put him at center. I think they're going to put him maybe at shortstop. While
defensively, would you rather have Mike Ciani or Tommy Edman? I messed up Ciani's first name. It's his granddad who played for the Raiders. What's Ciani's center fielder for?
He's Michael, isn't he?
It's Michael. Yeah,
he's Mike. We'll call him Mike. Why not? Yeah. Mike Ciani. I think I'd rather
his granddad, the original possession receiver for the Raiders in the early 70s.
How about that? Well, he looks
from
like
Villanova.
He looks like a possession receiver out there sometimes in center field. I think I would rather have Tommy Edman, but I'll be honest, I have really enjoyed Ciani a lot more than I did at the beginning of the season. He's growing.
Ciani is currently hitting 245. You can live with him at 245.
Sure, absolutely.
If he hits 260.
Oh, man, even better.
And Tommy Edman, is he that much better of a hitter?
I don't know if I would say he's that much better. I mean, he gets on base.
What's he, about a 260 guy? Career?
Yeah. He's about a league average bat when he's
Can
healthy.
get into one with a little more power than Ciani.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, I think both those guys are defensive players.
Brian, you know what was seriously crossing my mind during yesterday?
Oh no, I don't. Okay, Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I have no idea.
After Friday night and Saturday, giving up 24 combined.
Oh
and
no.
One of them involving your ace.
Oh no! Please tell me.
I was scared of a loss yesterday that I would get to the same point I got to last year at this time. I'm done.
Take a little early this time.
A little early and a lot more involved than last year.
Sure, certainly. But Brett.
But it was aggravating.
It was very aggravating. Look, it was not. Those games were not fun to watch.
To the zany Nats.
Well, and Brett, I hate that I had just gotten done saying it, but I said it when they got no hit. Nationals are better than they've been in years past. But I did not think it was going to come to them really having their way with the Cardinals this weekend.
The busiest team today is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, crazy.
Completely gonna run it back, do what they always do. They know themselves better than anybody. Those organizational meetings, Brian, that I talk about, where you have to close that door and be honest. And with the owner and the GM sitting there, that's what I'm scared of with the Cardinals. I'm afraid there's nobody in between John Mozeliak and the DeWitts.
Yeah.
Gersh has a role, but the buck stops personnel-wise with John Mozeliak to take to them. I think they always go to them, go, everything's fine, plan's going good, you'll like the team, and give this team 20 more days. Give this team 20 more days. Yeah. Give us next month.
Yep.
I don't think they ever go in and go, we stink.
No, not at all. Of course not.
Why do we because the natural answer from any boss is, well, why do we stink?
Exactly.
We say we're drawing 40,000 a night. We say best fans in baseball. We say baseball heaven.
Yep.
Why am I always hearing, well, Dylan Carlson hadn't worked any more than any other prospect? Why is Jack Flaherty being so coveted at trade deadline time, and we couldn't make it work with him?
Well, Brett, and I'm glad you brought that up, because one of my favorite things today was seeing after this trade went through and it was being reported everywhere, I started seeing tweets from people in St. Louis that cover the Cardinals saying, I'm hearing that the Cardinals are still looking around, seeing if they can make a deal involving Dylan Carlson. I said, wow, isn't that crazy? Because I remember a couple trade deadlines ago that
he was the linchpin.
He was untouchable, and nobody could have him. There was no right price.
In a deal for Juan Soto, he was untouchable.
He was untouchable.
I'm watching all weekend. How come we never could make Juan Yepes effective with the Cardinals, and he hit everything they rolled up to him this weekend?
Well, and Brett, Juan Yepes was on like a 15-game hit streak before they got no hit the other day. I mean, it's...
He's in
I mean, it's crazy.
How come Randall Grichuk, you can't find any place for him?
Right.
in St. Louis, but he goes on like Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, Randy Rosarena's a great one. It's weird. It's
the player development is certainly in question.
Very much in question.
You go back and look at the Cardinal drafts. There are not many players behind that was selected after their pick that you could go, why didn't they get that guy? There's not much of that.
No.
It's just a lot of guys that didn't work.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's starting to become a fairly long list of guys that just haven't really worked. And
now, and largely because of the injury, don't we add Tommy Edman to that?
Maybe. I guess so, because you didn't, there was no team success with him. And now, who knows? I very much could see him going to L.A., getting healthy at the right time, and being a factor for them in the postseason. And then add that to the list of guys that didn't work out in St. Louis and worked out somewhere else. I think very easily could happen.
And the Cubs even kind of going for it at trade deadline.
Yeah.
And they're going for nothing.
Exactly. And I think that was one that a lot of people, might have caught them by surprise. But, you mentioned it earlier, a big-time move that I think, they're sitting there saying, look, if he can come in, give us a big bat, and somehow we make the postseason this year, great. But that is a deal going into next year, into 2025, that we really build around him, build around that bat, and try to get something going. Because he's under team control till 2027. So, they've got several years with him only 25 years old. You expect that he only gets better. So I really like that deal for the Cubs.
I heard this from John Heyman earlier, too, so I want to give him credit. So everybody's talking about none of these National League wildcard teams can really go for it. The last 2 years, the 6th seed made it to the World Series representing the National League.
That's right. How about that? It's crazy.
Now, but which one of these could make a run? Atlanta, San Diego, Mets, Arizona, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and I'll even include San Francisco. None.
Doesn't feel like it, no.
And it's how good Philadelphia that they are, and how good Los Angeles thinks they should be.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Los Angeles will make more deals before the trade deadline. But the Phillies.
But I would bet right now the no on L.A., Philly, NLCS.
Yeah,
that's an easy bet. Just to bet no,
but
October always happens.
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
And then for the Yankees going for it like they are in the American League, the Yankees haven't won it since 2009. Only won it twice in the 21st century.
Yeah, got to do something. Yeah, getting Jazz Chisholm, that's a good pickup for them, and Miami.
And they get everybody's best shot come October.
Oh, of course.
Crowds thumping, crowds rocking like it hadn't all year at those ballparks.
Oh, absolutely. And so, you're seeing the big boys in the league. They're going out there and trying to make those deals to get everything right for that time.
And very quietly, Cleveland at 600 baseball.
Crazy. And no moves yet for them, but just as consistent as it comes this year. I say it every time we talk about them. We always say, okay, or at least early in the season, okay, they'll peter off at some time.
Cleveland, Baltimore, ALCS would be so good.
That would be so much fun. That would be great.
It's the anti-Yankee Red Sox ALCS, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is.
And I don't want to hear execs at Fox would hate it or at TBS.
I don't care. Honestly, when I'm watching baseball, I don't care what the execs at Fox.
I don't either, because the money never goes down.
No. And I think that would be a great.
Had poor ratings next year. TV deal goes down.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. No, never. But
never.
I already bet on the Guardians today. How about that? -1.5 tonight against the Tigers, because they pulled. Who did they pull tonight? Who are they supposed to throw tonight? Oh, Jack Flaherty. They were the Tigers were supposed to pitch Flaherty. They pulled him. Guess we're going to get a deal soon involving him. And so I said, okay.
Man,
Let's
it'd
bet on
be
the Guardians tonight.
together again weekend in St. Louis
Holy
to get
cow.
Flaherty and Pham back.
Oh, don't, Brett. No, I
Together again.
I don't know if I could do that. That would be a lot going on. Sure would be come together again or together again weekend for sure. But no, a lot of really, really interesting trades. I have a note that I want to bring up later about the trade that happened over the weekend with Danny Jansen from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox. They have a game that was suspended that they have to complete. That he can
play for both teams.
He's going to probably play for both teams in that game. I'll probably bring that back up in more detail.
Always fun when that happens.
Oh, just incredible. So, but a lot going on in Major League Baseball. I think still a lot more moves, or at least a couple big-time moves still to come tonight and into tomorrow, but definitely fun to keep up with. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it will be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20-plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Smoke is our sauce.
What is the Central Barbecue slogan? What are we playing?
Well, I just think that we don't emphasize often enough that even though Central Barbecue offers a variety of sauces at all of their many locations, Central Barbecue's barbecue doesn't even really need the sauce.
We should mention that more often. Central Barbecue doesn't take any shortcuts. The barbecue at Central Barbecue is slow-smoked Memphis style for 24 hours to make it so flavorful you really don't need sauce.
That was my point. Well, boy, do they have great sauces.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to go sauce-free at Central Barbecue. I'm just saying I could.
Again, exactly my point. Look at my copy. It's the first thing I said. You just hijacked the commercial.
See how it feels?
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you will find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
One of the key things that separates Genesis Diamonds from other jewelry stores is nobody's paid on commission. Vice President Nina Abraham says Genesis Diamond experts are never incentivized to get you to spend more or to buy something that's not in your budget.
Doesn't matter how much you spend. If you spend $500 or $50,000, their main focus is finding the perfect engagement ring or research ring or sales tactics.
So when you walk into Genesis Diamonds, you can relax, take your time, get the education you deserve, and make a decision that's best for you, not the salesperson.
They can trust us. It's a huge, huge difference when you know that that person is just going to focus on what I want, what I am looking for, not what they want to sell.
No pressure, no risk, no pricing games, no nonsense. At Genesis, it's about making you happy.
It's for life. It's a customer for life. It's a relationship for life.
Genesis Diamonds are luxury pre-owned Rolexes and Monterey Americans instant.
I'm Ina Abraham, and my accent is always on value.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, you teased your big number earlier, so I'm very excited to hear what it could be. It is Olympic basketball related, so how about you go first, because I don't know if I can wait another minute without hearing what this big number is.
Big number is 294.
Okay.
He has 40,474 NBA career points.
Holy cow.
And after 21 yesterday, LeBron James is at 294 points all time in the Olympics. That's third behind Carmelo Anthony on the all-time points list for the United States. Second with 336, and Carmelo Anthony is third with 236. Second, KD, and after 23 versus Serbia in a 110-84 win. Carmelo Anthony 1, KD 2, LeBron 3. Here's the list all time for the United States.
Okay.
KD 1, Carmelo 2, LeBron James 3. David Robinson 4, Michael Jordan 5, Charles Barkley 6, Kobe Bryant 7, and Chris Mullin at 8th.
Wow.
All-time leading scorers in Olympic play for any country, 1,093 points by Oscar Schmidt from Brazil.
How about that?
Had 55 in a game against Spain in 1988.
Oh, shout out Brazil. Wow.
Andrew Gay's second for Australia at 789. Pau Gasol, 649, third all-time in Olympic scoring.
Awesome. Wow. See, I thought it was going to be I thought we would get a Kevin Durant shout-out in that big number. I didn't think it was going to be that big number, but that's a really good one. A lot of research over the weekend for you.
Brett, you got some all-time on Arvydas Sabonis? Where is he at on that all-time points?
And,
he wasn't close.
Remember, a couple of boycotts in there for
Sabonis. Okay.
USSR.
That's true.
And then he was here, in the United States, and was kind of done on the international level. From about 90 on?
Yeah, because I don't remember a lot of, my eyes don't remember a lot of him from an international standpoint, just Portland.
I like that big number, Brett. That was really good. But Kevin Durant, the show he put on yesterday, coming in and really giving Team USA a massive spark was awesome to watch.
Kawhi, who?
Yeah, literally. But my big number, let's see, it has got to be 1988. That is a year. I hope it was a good year. But my big number.
That's Oscar Schmidt's year, 55.
Wow, how about that? Well, this big number this 1988 has to do with Ricky Henderson, because Ellie De La Cruz became the 5th Major League Baseball player in the modern era, and Brett, as we know, modern era, not so modern since 1901, to have 70 or more runs and 55 or more stolen bases in a season before the end of July. He's the 5th to ever do it. First since Ricky Henderson did it in 1988.
Speed is back.
Speed is definitely back, and Ellie
That's what the Nationals did Friday and Saturday,
is,
just running around the bases like a merry-go-round.
You're absolutely right, and there's a handful of guys that are kind of carving out that area of, I've got speed, and I'm going to kill you with speed, and Ellie De La Cruz.
Why would you not align your team more like that with the limited number of throwovers?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I know, before the season started, and as we're kind of going into this new era of baseball with the pitch clock and the limitations on how many times you can step off and the bigger bases, there was a lot of talk about having more guys on your 40-man roster with speed that are maybe just speed guys that you can plug in there as a pinch runner, or put them up on the majors roster.
I loved what Jazz Chisholm did late in the game last night when the third baseman was sound asleep, not really covering third. He took off late in the game.
And so
I don't think the Red Sox liked it, but too bad.
I mean, that's
it's another thing I love about the international game, especially right now in pool play.
Yeah.
Blowouts are encouraged.
Oh, I mean, you
because points scored and margin matters.
Yeah, if you can blow them out, you got to. Because you're absolutely right. It's going to come down to that when we get to the actual knockout rounds, as they like to call it in the Olympics. So, no, I mean, it's it's been fun watching these Olympic events, and now Team USA, their second game tomorrow. I don't know, Darian, do you know what time that game is tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow for Team USA men's basketball.
I thought they were Wednesday. Hold on one
It
second.
might
The
be
schedule is
Wednesday.
hard to find.
Yeah, it might be Wednesday. I know.
Don't go to the FIBA site.
Yeah, don't. I know there are men's games tomorrow.
I think they're playing South Sudan.
They are.
FIBA's like on a 2-year delay.
They're back in time. It's 2022 on FIBA's website. It's kind of what it feels like. It's a terrible website. I mean, I could rant about it for our entire show about just how bad.
Wednesday.
Do you have a time?
Let's see here. 2 p.m.
Okay.
2 p.m.
Wednesday, 2 p.m.
So we'll be awake. It won't be 2, 3, 4 a.m.
Well, that was kind of the good thing. I remember when they kind of put out the times for men's basketball and women's basketball. It's like all the times, at least in the group stage, were like 11 in the morning, 2 o'clock. Like they were all reasonable. Exactly. And so I was very happy to see that. And so you're right. We're not gonna.
And Brett, I certainly see that hot seat of Steve Kerr getting warmer and warmer and warmer by the day. Kudos to you. I'm watching that going forward because this Tatum thing has legs.
I was on it in the Philippines last August.
Yeah. No, you definitely were. And you're right.
And it's almost a thankless job. You win, everybody says, well, I could have won with that team.
Yeah, correct.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's.
But Derek White getting
hard to win.
16 minutes, his seat's warm. It's getting warmer.
Yeah.
And poor Halliburton forgotten, when we remember the other player that didn't scratch.
Is Halliburton even on the team? I mean, that's the question, I guess. But no, we'll have. I mentioned men's games tomorrow. Spain and Greece tomorrow, early morning, 4 a.m. our time. Santi Aldama had a great game in the first game for Spain. Really lit it up. I think made 6 threes. Took 8, I believe, and made 6, which was a record for the Spain national team. So they'll go tomorrow. I know there will be a lot of Grizzly fans. Keep an eye on that as they play Giannis Antetokounmpo and Greece, Canada, Australia tomorrow morning at 6:30. And then France also tomorrow at about 10 o'clock. So plenty of good basketball tomorrow, even though it's not going to be Team USA. They'll play on Wednesday.
No, Santi's your only Grizzly in the Olympics at all.
Yeah.
Total.
Well, except for the Exhibit 10 fella that Brett mentioned. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yuri Kawamura.
Yeah, 5'8" brethren.
Yuri what? What's his last name?
Kawamura.
I'll be watching him. I didn't know he was on the national team, but I'll definitely be watching Japan from now on, especially, I mean, they've got some other guys on there that are.
He's good. He's just a small player.
Little guy. I think it was Brazil the other day. They had a guy that was like 5'10" or something, like a really tall, really small guy. And they were like, look, he's really small, but defensively he's great. And I was like, okay, cool.
And you know who would really dislike that is Mark Wise. He can't stand little guards.
Of course. Every time we talk to Mark, that comes up. But we need to go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, really excited. Gary Myers going to join us, longtime NFL journalist, also a Hall of Fame voter, so perfect time to get him on with the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Also an author, his most recent book, Once a Giant, a story of victory, tragedy, and life after football. So we'll talk about that as well, and also probably talk some Giants as they're kind of big in the news right now with everything that's happened this offseason with Saquon Barkley. They're on the Hard Knocks this year, the offseason version. So a lot to get to. We'll do that next with Gary Myers.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
For over 8 decades, decades, America's farmers have counted on the little red tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
It's the big Christmas summer event at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out on the pike. Yo, Rock and Ronnie, what you got going on?
I've got 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive, $26,095 or $388 a month.
That's a rockin' Jeep deal. What else you got, Ronnie?
Power up in a 2023 Dodge Charger FXT, $26,795 or $398 a month.
And Ronnie, I know you're in the big Christmas summer event. You gotta have an incredible Ram deal.
2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4-wheel drive, $697 a month.
Rockin' Ronnie is rockin' some deals today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram out on the pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
Renegade Triple P 57256 MSRP 31095 Charger PH 636170 MSRP 37215 Ram RN 203232 MSRP 588. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. All exclude tax title and license with approved credit CD for complete details. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Parkway Center, Popper Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today at 901-382-2363 or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of accidents.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk a lot of NFL, Gary Myers. He joins us, longtime NFL journalist and Hall of Fame voter, also an author. Check out his most recent book, Once a Giant, A Story of Victory, Tragedy, and Life After Football. Gary, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, a big week with it being Hall of Fame game week. How big is that day for you this week? What goes into kind of everything circulating and around Hall of Fame week this week?
Well, in the years that
I happen to make a presentation on a candidate and he gets in, I usually attend Hall of Fame weekend. This year I'm not, but obviously it doesn't make it any less big for everybody else. It's always a great weekend in Canton, and I feel good for all the players who are getting in, and they're all really well deserving. Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis, and then the two seniors, Randy Gradishaw and Steve McMichael. So, congratulations to them.
For sure, and it's a very defensive class and a offensive league now, Gary.
Yeah, I would imagine that's going to be changing as we get into the next phase of this. Players have to be retired for 5 years before they're eligible, and as the league has exploded offensively, and the numbers that these guys are putting up are just kind of like video game numbers, it'll probably trend more towards offensive players. So the fact that 4 out of the 5 of the modern era players and both of the senior players are defensive guys who play defense, I don't think we're going to see that again for a while.
Your latest book, Once a Giant, A Story of Victory, Tragedy, and Life After Football. Tell our readers exactly what it examines and some of the personalities involved.
Yeah, Brett, it's about the '86 Giants, but it's not about that season necessarily, although I do touch on it. It's more about what their life is like after football and the impact, good and bad, that the game had on their lives as they're now in their 60s and late 50s to late 60s, a couple in their early 70s. And, from a physical and emotional standpoint, and in a lot of cases financial standpoint, the repercussions of playing such a physically demanding sport during an era where they didn't make anywhere near the money that they're making today. And there's a lot of heartbreaking stories in there. There's a lot of heartwarming stories. And, for those who like that generation, which I thought was the best football that I ever covered, because it was pre-free agency before players started switching teams, it seems like every year. And, you had the '86 Giants, the '85 Bears, those 49er teams of the '80s, all great teams, Washington teams. But, I spoke to all the big-name players from that Giant team, including Parcells and Belichick and Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms and Carl Banks and Harry Carson. It just goes on and on. Some of the best players, in this era of the NFL, and certainly, two of the best coaches. Belichick was the defensive coordinator for both of the Giants' first 2 Super Bowl teams and winners, and Parcells was a Hall of Fame coach. And just some great personalities and really compelling stories that came out of my research and interviews.
You mentioned covering the NFC and the Giants in those years, and the winner of the NFC Championship game in those years was going to be your Super Bowl champion. I mean, the semifinals even had great drama in the conference championship game. That team that won, they were going on and winning it. There were some really good teams down ballot. Some of those Buddy Ryan, Philadelphia Eagles teams. Heck, a couple of football Cardinal teams were pretty good in the NFC, but you just couldn't break through against the Big Four.
Yeah, I mean, from 1984 when the 49ers won their second championship until the Broncos won it in 97, right, the 97 season when they beat the Packers, you had 13 consecutive NFC Super Bowl champions, which was pretty amazing when you think about it. But the 49er teams were so dominant, and then the Giants won in 86 and 90. The Bears were just the one-hit wonders. Certainly with their defense, we thought they were capable of winning at least one more championship. Then the Cowboy teams of the early 90s were, pretty amazing. And you had the 49ers 88, 89, 94. So, it was pretty hard to break through for not only the other NFC teams, like you mentioned, but some of these AFC teams were pretty good teams that just got beat back by the NFC. The John Elway's Broncos teams lost Super Bowls in 86, '87 and '89. I'm testing my own memory here. And then the Bills lost 4 straight, which was an amazing accomplishment, just getting to 4 straight. But they really just had, I think a chance to win one of those. I believe they were ahead of the Cowboys at the half, the second time they played them, and then got blown out in the second half. But those Buffalo teams were pretty good. A lot of Hall of Famers on those teams as well, with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith, Andre Reed. Those were some really good teams.
Cornelius Bennett.
He wasn't a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he was a really, really good player, obviously. And they had some really good offensive linemen on those teams. So the NFC in the 80s and 90s, at least the first half of the 90s, were just some really dominant teams.
Yeah. Gary, I love listening to authors kind of talk about kind of the behind the scenes of writing a book and especially biographies. And like you mentioned, your book about that Giants team is more kind of away from the game, kind of what happened with these guys after the game. What was your favorite part about researching for this book, interviews for this book, kind of the behind the scenes part of the book that we don't see as readers? What was your favorite part of that process?
Well, it was really reconnecting with players who I knew very well when they played, and a lot of them have stayed in the New York area, so I've seen them over the years, but it was the opportunity to sit down and have lengthy conversations with them and really, get them to open up and be very forthcoming about some, really sensitive issues that are going on in their lives. And because the book just came out in September, these stories are still really relevant because not a lot has changed with those guys in the last 9 or 10 months. Probably the best day that I had, maybe the best I ever had interviewing in the 40-some-odd years I've been in this profession, was in May of 2022. I spent the morning with Bill Parcells at his house in Tequesta, Florida. And then the afternoon, after Lawrence Taylor finished playing in Joe Namath's celebrity golf tournament, I spent the afternoon with him. So
that's a good day.
To get Parcells and Lawrence in one day, and then getting on the plane to go back to New York, I said, that was pretty good. And they were both great in my interviews with them and told me lots of stuff I didn't know. So, and it was really that way throughout these interviews that I had a pretty good working knowledge before I did this, but the stuff that I found out in just being able to sit down with these guys, and I think the relationships I had with them going into it really helped. I know it helped in them opening up to me because they knew at that point they could trust me. And if they said, well, this is off the record, they knew I wasn't going to write it. But seriously, in the 25 or 30 interviews I did for the book, I don't think there was more than one thing that was said to me that the guy said, I really prefer that you don't write this.
Wow.
Everything else was on the record, and, again, talking about financial issues that they had, mental health issues, physical issues, things that I really think brought a light to that generation of players before the concussion protocol and before health insurance. When they retired, it only extended at that point from 12 months, and they made it 18 months. Now it's 5 years, which still isn't sufficient because a lot of the issues that these guys have don't happen until their 40s and 50s, when they need to have hip replacements and shoulder replacements and hip replacements. And if they don't have good health insurance at the time, they pretty much have to go begging to the league to help them out. So there was a lot of really revealing, compelling stories about these guys' lives. And, one of the lines I use in the introduction is that we lose track of these guys after the last piece of confetti falls on their head when they win a championship. And to be able to bring this, out in the open, I say this in all sincerity. I hope every player that's currently playing either gets a chance to read the book or finds out about some of the things that are in the book. Obviously, that would help my book sales, but I'm thinking of it more in terms of, from an educational standpoint, that I think they would learn a lot about things that they can face when they get into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and how to protect themselves, both by saving their money and making sure they always have good health insurance, And, players who are living in the moment don't tend to think about those things. The smarter ones do.
No, Gary, it's really hard for a 25-year-old in anything to think in the prism of I'm going to be 50 someday, but especially not athletes that think they're that they can just take on anything. And we see the very sad case of Steve McMichael, and so glad that he is finally going in. That's this year's class. Let's look forward a year from now. I hope we can catch up with you around this time next year. Is the easiest person that will go in next year unbelievably a kicker at Adam Vinatieri?
To be honest with you, I haven't studied next year's list. I knew Adam was on and Eli Manning's up for the first time. I don't see how Adam Vinatieri doesn't get in, considering the Patriots won their first 3 Super Bowls by a field goal. And would he? He might be the best kicker in NFL history. He's certainly the most clutch kicker in NFL history. Won 4 Super Bowls because he also won one with the Colts. I think that would be, the easiest guys are the ones where the presenter just stands up, says his name, and sits down.
That's right.
And doesn't make a presentation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that whoever the person will be to present Vinatieri will take that risk, simply because he's a kicker. And I don't think any kicker just kind of skates into Canton, but if any of them deserve to, it's certainly Vinatieri.
Take us in that room. When you say presenter, are you tasked with lobbying for him, or are you just laying out the case? Are you going in as a proponent, or are you just going in and laying out the facts?
I think that's a great question. And I've done lots of interviews over the last 10 or 12 years that I've been on the committee. People ask me about the process, and that's the first time it's really been phrased like that, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Because I represent the Jets players. I don't represent the team. If a Jet player makes it to the final 15, it's my responsibility to make the presentation. If a Giant player makes it to the final 15, there's another New York writer who gets to do that. So each of the 32 teams are represented by one of the voters, and then we have 18 at-large voters. So, most recently, Joe Klecko on the senior committee, which I'm also a member of. But on the my most recent one was Kevin Malloy, who of a modern era candidate. People in Tennessee who follow the Titans are familiar with Kevin. Spent the last 4 years of his career with the Titans. So it was my responsibility to make the presentation for Kevin. It's supposed to be a straightforward presentation about Kevin's accomplishments and why he is a worthy Hall of Fame candidate. We're not supposed to stand on a soapbox and implore people, please vote for Kevin, or just anybody, that we're supposed to be presenters, and if you want to stretch it, advocate. But we're not supposed to present it as if we have a personal stake in it.
Right.
And I can tell you that the longer I've been on the committee, the more I'm surprised is how some of these presenters get themselves emotionally involved and are pleading for votes. And you're not supposed to do that. It's hard not to get emotionally involved because you have a lot of conversations with the candidate that you're presenting leading up to it. And you know how much it means to them. And anybody who makes it to the final 15, the odds are eventually they will get in. And certainly they're all worthy. If you get that far, you're worthy of being in the Hall of Fame because it's so hard just to get to the final 15. But we're really just supposed to keep it objective. And that's the one part of the process. It bothers me a little bit that they take, we've all supposedly been objective journalists for our careers. And now we get thrown in a room and said, okay, you present, whoever, and it's your responsibility to, in essence, be his campaign manager.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still think it's a better process than baseball, where they just send you a ballot.
I know
You
so.
sit at home and you check off the names and you send it back in. This is a very thorough process where we have sometimes over an hour discussion on a candidate where anybody in the room is eligible to, you can raise your hand and you can speak on any candidate you want after the initial presentation is made. So for the voters, it's very educational because, you can't pretend that you know as much about somebody who didn't play in your city as you do about somebody who did. And so I find those presentations very helpful. And then, you can speak up on anybody you want to. But so I think it's a much better process than baseball. It just does put us in a little bit of an awkward position at times, depending on what the approach is of the presenter.
That's fascinating. We're talking to Gary Myers, a longtime NFL journalist, Hall of Fame voter, also an author. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Gary Myers NY. Gary, being up there in New York, I'm curious what this offseason has been like for both the Jets and the Giants from kind of a fan perspective. What are you hearing around New York when it comes to kind of the expectations for both these teams going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, the hype around the Jets is not the same as it was last year.
Right.
When Hard Knocks was here and Aaron Rodgers, just arrived, and then his season lasted 4 plays, as everybody knows by now. I think Jet fans are much more realistic this year in knowing they have a 40-year-old quarterback, and the entire season it depends on keeping him healthy, and the Jets' offensive line it's better than it was last year, but it's still not in the top half of the league. So I think the expectations here are probably the same as they were last year, that they have Aaron Rodgers for a finite period of time, and the rest of the team is pretty good. Yeah. I mean, they just have a good roster, and it all depends on keeping him healthy because the backup quarterback they have, Tyrod Taylor, gets hurt more than Rodgers does.
That's right.
Which is why I thought he was kind of a curious signing. I think they needed somebody more durable than Tyrod Taylor, but I would think the drop-off from Rodgers to whoever the backup quarterback would be severe anyhow. So the whole Jet season is dependent on keeping Rodgers healthy, and he's got to play at least 15 games for the Jets, to have a chance. The Giants are in the 3rd year of a rebuilding program, and maybe the worst thing that happened to them was in the first year they made the playoffs and won a playoff game because they went completely backwards last year. They finished 6-11, and there's been a big roster turnover, and Saquon Barkley's not here anymore, and he was their best player. I don't think there's much expectations for the Giants, which just probably means they'll make the playoffs. Because even in the Giants' years of winning the Super Bowl in 2007 and 2011, not much was expected from them.
Right.
And then the years that people thought they would go to the Super Bowl and go deep into the playoffs, they finished under 500. So the Jets are definitely the more talked about team in New York.
Sure.
But we don't know. We never know how things are going to turn out.
Yeah. Well, Gary, this has been a ton of fun. Before we let you go, let all of the listeners know we've talked a lot about your most recent book, Once a Giant, A Story of Victory, Tragedy, and Life After Football. Where can people go and find that book and get themselves a copy?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to Amazon or any of your local bookstores, Barnes & Nobles, stores of that nature. And it came out last September, but there's still a lot of strong interest in it, which I appreciate. And I haven't mentioned this on more than one show so far, but I'm in the midst of writing a new book that my target date is the start of the 2025 season, and this will not be the title, but this is the theme of the book. Was it Brady or Belichick?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm deep into my interviews. I have a lot of great stuff so far, and I still got plenty more people I want to talk to. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down and writing that one.
I can't wait to hear what Big Charlie Weiss says.
I actually talked to Charlie 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
We look forward to that, Gary. We're going to talk to you a long time before that. Always a treat. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Guys, thanks so much for having me on. I always appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
That was a lot of fun, Brett. Gary Myers
Sure
joining
is.
us. Longtime NFL journalist, Hall of Fame voter, and now an author. A lot of books, but most recently, like we said, Once a Giant. But, man, I can't wait for his next one after just hearing about it.
Me either. And the reason why I couldn't be in that voting room, like I mentioned those players earlier, Joe Staley next year, Adam Vinatieri, Eli Manning, Marshall Yando, Eric Allen, Antonio Gay. I'd vote for all of them.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, whatever case anybody make, I'm for that.
Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, send him in.
I mean, you have to cut it off at some point.
Yes, and that it makes it tough, but you're right. I don't think I could be.
I mean, Eddie George. I'd vote for Eddie George.
First time I saw his name on a ballot, I would vote for him.
And you know, can't believe that L.C. Greenwood and Ken Anderson aren't in by now. And I think we've gotten into, and I'm okay by it, in the modern era, kind of post 1990 of the NFL. If a coach wins a Super Bowl, he eventually gets in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So Mike Holmgren won one, got to another. Mike Shanahan won two.
Right.
They're going in. Hey, everybody, let's drive to the beach, to the lake, to the mountains, to anywhere we want to go and what we really want to drive. And that's something from All-Star Chevy at Olive Branch. Hundreds of new and pre-owned Silverados at All-Star. Some mark 12% off invoice. Add up the All-Star special discounts and look for Costco member deals at All-Star Chevrolet. It's one sweet buyer's market with financing as low as 1.9%. No payments for 90 days on a bunch of new All-Star Chevys, and nothing beats road trips like being in a new Tahoe. Get an extra $500 bonus back if you're an educator, healthcare worker, college grad, first responder, or in the military. No matter what pre-owned you're looking for, they have it at All-Star. Jeeps, 4Runners, Expedition, Navigator, all the trucks in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and you can test drive every one of them. Bring any vehicle you want to sell and get a big check today at All-Star Chevrolet. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's special summer sale going on right now in Olive Branch. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring, and continue to get compliments on it. It looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, and he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world. And that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew it.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant set. Got the value price Genesis is known for. Tell everyone they knew about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Listen up, I got Marty McNate on the line at Gossett Volkswagen, Germantown. Hey, McNate, how far back you moving on prices?
Way back, Randy. Doc told me you can take your pick. 2024 Teos SE or 2024 Jetta Sport. Gotta go back in time to the good old days at $275 a month.
Great Scott, McNate. Gossett Volkswagen on Germantown is really moving prices back.
That's right, Randy.
And I hear you got the 2024 Atlas Peak Editions going for $5,000 off MSRP, or you can get 1.9 for 60 months.
That's right, Randy. Your future's whatever you make of it, so let's get to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Ask for Marty to find out how much he can move you back on price. Hey, Marty, hit us with that Gossett Volkswagen locator.
7420 Winchester Road or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending in a lot of different places. We could go during this segment, a very busy weekend in the sports world. Olympics, baseball, a little bit of everything. But Major League Baseball, good slate tonight. We talked a lot about the trade deadline, but haven't talked a lot about what's happened on the field other than kind of a disaster of a weekend for the Cardinals. They were able to win yesterday, though. Already have one final in the books tonight, or this afternoon, Orioles and Blue Jays. Orioles with an 11-5 win in that one. Couple games about to get going as we speak. But, this is the time where you're watching and you're going to see new players at new places. Some players, we mentioned earlier, Jack Flaherty getting pulled from his start tonight. Likely we'll see a deal including him later tonight or tomorrow morning. But you're going to see a lot of weird things that you go, what? That doesn't look right over these next couple days.
One of those National League teams that I do think that could get hot and make a lot of noise down the stretch and make it 3 straight years of maybe not 6th place, but of a wild card team getting to the World Series is San Diego.
Yeah, no.
Baltimore was lucky to get the salvage yesterday.
No, you're right, and San Diego's playing better, and kind of. For the last couple of years, it's like, what do you do with San Diego, especially when, they had everybody and Soto in there, and it just didn't feel like they were really getting much done. But, 7-3 in their last 10 and, only now a half game out of the wild card. They're definitely moving in the right direction. It feels like they're starting to figure things out. Obviously got a big momentum boost Thursday when Dylan Cease threw the no-hitter. So, yeah, that's definitely, I think, a team
they
to
won't
keep an
win
eye
the
on.
West. They can get to that 4th
Sure.
seed. Right now they are technically 5.
Yeah, no. So that I definitely think that's a team to keep an eye on because, like I said, they're playing a lot better. Kind of it feels like a lot of these teams, kind of struggled early in the season, trying to really, feel the season out. But now you're seeing a couple of them really turn things around and play much better. And San Diego's definitely one of those teams.
Going the wrong way for the Braves. Did you watch any golf over the weekend?
No, not at all. No chance.
I didn't watch much either. For the tour this year, you think about since the U.S. Open, about all that's really grabbed us has been the Open Championship.
Yep, that's about it.
And that's on in the middle of the night.
That's right.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Olympics this week in Paris.
Get a lot of eyeballs.
I think so. Then next week, Wyndham, then Memphis.
Yeah.
And the playoffs.
Right around the corner, yeah.
I hope that a lot of people will want to reattach to the tour during the playoffs with Memphis, the BMW at Castle Rock, and then the Tour Championship down at East Lake.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think, the biggest problem, we've talked about it a lot before, about how just the way the season is set up with the PGA now, you take away all the guys that aren't playing these events because of LIV, and then you've got all of these, events that, the Scotty Schefflers of the world, the Rory McIlroys of the world, they don't want to play in these events, and they don't need to play in these events because of where they are in points and everything. And so then, you kind of have a watered-down group of guys, and, it just kind of goes under the radar. And, that will change come Memphis and come the playoffs, which will, definitely help a little bit.
And Johnny Vegas, the winner this weekend, and it was just not very compelling Sunday TV.
No.
Especially up against, the Olympics and
Yeah.
even the Together Again weekend.
That's right. Well, and that's kind of the problem. This past weekend and because of the Olympics, a lot of sports, I think, and obviously not a ton going on right now, but when you look at golf, when you look at baseball, kind of the two sports that really have the platform right now, when the Olympics are on, it kind of takes away from that a lot. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of baseball over the weekend because I was watching a ton of Olympics. I didn't watch any golf this weekend because I was watching a ton of Olympics. And so, for these 2 weeks that the Olympics are on, a lot of people, that's all they're watching.
And this is the time that, but for baseball to kind of have it, and they have to deal with the Olympics. And when the Olympics get over with, well, here comes the football monster.
Yeah, and you mentioned
it just devours everything.
Yeah, and I love kind of how this is set up for us here in Memphis, because you have the Olympics, which we're all going to be watching a ton of the Olympics, that, right when the Olympics are done, you're going to have, the tour, the PGA Tour here in Memphis, and then right after that, it's going to be time for college football. And so,
it is time.
That's going to be a ton of fun to, be able to just have all of that flow so nicely. It really won't be any downtime, because usually this is kind of around the time where kind of as a fan, you're sitting there going, all right, I love Major League Baseball, but man, I really need some college football. And we still have, a month left before, we got games. But, having the Olympics, having, the St. Jude Championship, that makes it go by a little faster.
The quarterbacks are getting paid in the NFL. Tua with his big deal, and then Jordan Love with his big deal.
Yeah.
What fan base should be happiest they have their quarterback? Should the Dolphins or the Packer fans be happier?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the Packers. I mean, what you've seen from Jordan Love has been incredible. I mean, he has been so good in his first season. Tua, I think, has been good, but I still think there are a lot more questions about him as a kind of franchise quarterback. Can he get you a Super Bowl right now than what there is in Jordan Love? And who knows? I mean, Jordan Love could come out and have a sophomore slump or something, But I think what you've seen from him, I think you feel a lot more confident about that. I think Packer fans are very happy after what happened over the weekend.
So answer Gary Myers' question. Brady or Belichick for his next book? Who gets credit?
Oh man,
just Brady. Who is it?
Yeah, I think I'll have to go with Brady. It's a good question though. I'm excited for the book.
Is it because that he went on and got one for Bruce Arians too?
That definitely helps things out.
For me, Brady, it's because you can't not forget Cleveland. Like that's where Belichick came from. Until he got Tom Brady, it didn't turn around for him. That's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good argument.
And he wasn't going to that level of success with Drew Bledsoe.
No, not at all. So
Drew was promising then, though, but maybe not to that extent.
I'll say Tom Brady, but how about this? I'll let Gary Myers answer it for me in about a year.
And it's really both, but
it's really
both. The premise of your book is which one, which I like.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be great. I love that, and now that I know that, next time we have him on, I'm just going to be asking him about how he's writing his book, because I love listening to authors talk about their process of writing. I think it's fascinating.
Especially pro coaches. They're really identified the coach that wins the Super Bowl with his quarterback that wins it with him. Yeah. But I think he didn't, though, but I think Jimmy Johnson could have won Super Bowls at other places or even with the Cowboys other than Troy Aikman?
Yeah.
Do you?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. And then Joe Gibbs won it with three different starters.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Joe Theismann,
I would say,
Mark
Brett, that he was just as good as George Seifert in San Francisco. So, yes, I definitely would say so. Yes. And George Seifert was good. Very good.
Very good.
And Bill Walsh.
Yeah, but and Seifert won it with Steve Young. And
Seifert won it with Steve Young.
And with Joe Montana.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting question. For
was it Mike Shanahan or was it John Elway at the end of his career?
That is
he got to the end and won it back-to-back years and had the walk-off.
Yeah.
After finally getting a running game and a semblance of a defense.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, maybe the next book will be, was it Nick Foles or Doug Peterson? I mean, that could be a book for the Eagles.
It sure wasn't defense.
It sure wasn't. No.
There was one stop that whole day in Super Bowl 52, and that was the Eagles recovering a fumble after getting to Brady.
Yeah, and Darian, as you know, I mean, I don't know who wouldn't know this. Nick Foles on the Eagles Mount Rushmore. He's got to be. Put a statue out there. I mean,
we got him there.
Super Bowl MVP. I mean, how about that?
I guess I still give Carson Wentz a lot of credit for getting
Wentz,
there.
Man, who's that guy? I mean, please.
I mean, Parcells won with Phil Simms, but he also won with Jeff Hostetler starting. And the game plan that day was the ball doesn't go in the air unless we kick it.
Oh, that's a great game plan, I guess.
And Otis Anderson dealing damage.
Wow. Yes.
Dave Meggett, how about that one? Was he on that team as well? Wasn't Dave Meggett there?
I think
Meggett was there.
Contributor.
He was a running back.
I think so.
But it wasn't a lot of throws from Jeff Hostetler.
That's probably a good thing.
And they wrote a running game and a defense.
Sure, yeah, good for them.
And Gary talked about the Bears just winning it once in that stretch with that 85 Bear defense because Jim McMahon was not very good on offense.
Right, yeah, well, yeah. But, hey, I guess you get it however you can, right?
Didn't have great receivers. Walter Payton wasn't at the end, but his best days were behind him.
Right. Brett, before we get to a break, we talked a lot about the trade deadline, and I guess we'll have a couple of hours when we start the show tomorrow before the actual trade deadline ends. Is there a team that you're surprised either they made a move, didn't make a move? Is there a player that you're kind of waiting? When's he going to get moved? What's kind of going on in your mind around trade deadline?
I'm a little surprised that teams that I think are out of it, like Tampa and like Texas, are doing anything.
Yeah.
And Tampa's doing it wholesale.
Sure.
And Texas has had a move or two.
Sure. No, they definitely have. And
it's over. They're not going to the postseason.
Right. Yeah. And so no, you're definitely right. That is something definitely interesting. Because you're right. I mean, in terms of the Rays, I mean, it's complete fire sale. I mean,
2025 starts now.
Yeah, I mean it's everything. I mean, heck, maybe even 2026 starts now. I mean, it's the moves they're making.
And their potential opening days starting 8.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hardcore baseball people wouldn't recognize two names.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. And which is crazy because Brett, we were there a couple years ago watching that AAA team for the Rays and saying, man, this group of guys could be that group that really gets them to the next level. And obviously, I think
going and seeing Durham was appointment.
It absolutely was. I made sure to go like every day that week just to see them. Now, I think,
and the leader of it was
Wander Franco, and I think,
and he's done.
I think
he'll never play another game.
No, and shouldn't. I think if none of this had happened and he just acted like a normal person, I don't think we'd be talking about them today. As
it destabilized them.
It definitely did. That was the start of all of this.
And sometimes that can't miss prospect that something sadly happens, and it happened with St. Louis with Oscar Tavares.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so it's just.
But aren't we at the end of kind of the expiration date of the death of
Sure.
OT, as everybody called him.
Yeah.
Derailing the franchise. You got to come out of it at some point, don't you?
No, that can't be.
And you're not. And the St. Louis Cardinals aren't the Tampa Bay Rays.
Exactly. No, that's a great point. You can't let that hang on forever. I mean, like you said, eventually that has to have an end date. I mean, very, very sad, but like.
And someone's got to answer.
Exactly. And so far, that has not happened. That has not been the case.
We've had field manager changes.
Yes, definitely.
Mike Matheny looks like Whitey Herzog compared to Ollie Marmol.
Yeah, he does. And that's a whole nother conversation.
And now here's Mike Shield.
Oh, yeah. Don't
winning
win now.
Enough with the Padres.
Yeah, and like you just said,
But I don't think this is Oliver Marmol's fault.
I don't think so either. He's certainly not helping things.
There aren't major in-game gaffes.
No. I just don't think the team's very good, which is not his fault.
Another key acquisition just DFA'd Giovanni Gallegos this weekend.
Crazy. I was
gave him away.
I shouldn't say I was shocked to see his name being out there. I was shocked that he was DFA'd because you're right. That was
just get nothing.
Yeah, that was a guy that you really thought you were going to be relying on this year, and
I thought coming back pretty good.
Sure, yeah.
The pitch clock really affected him.
Oh yeah, and there's a couple of guys in Major League Baseball that pitch clock just have never been able to figure it out, and it's really, really been hurting them. So now I'm definitely interested to see what happens tonight into tomorrow and what kind of deals we get at the deadline. Certainly a couple pitchers still out there, Trick Skubal, Garrett Crochet, which now big questions about what will happen with him at the deadline. But let's go ahead and get to our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Eat card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
Chase
Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for the participation. Partnership like any mortgage in Spain. Remember, FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
There's only like 2 days the whole year without a game. That's it. That makes just about every day game day at DraftKings Sportsbook. Super easy to get started. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook's app. Select your team. Place your first bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, 90 seconds, and use the code HERD, H-E-R-D. That's code HERD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms and responsible gaming resources at dkng.co/baseball.
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you will find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Fanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, what I learned today, Brett, is that things could get interesting with the Danny Jansen trade that happened over the weekend. This comes from MLB Scoring Changes on Twitter. Here's what he had to say. There's a lot at play. Jansen is the batter that is at the plate when the Red Sox and Blue Jays game resumes, and he had an 0-1 count. Since the pinch hitter doesn't inherit a 2-strike count, all action will be charged to the pinch hitter. However, to make room for Jansen, the Red Sox DFA'd Reese McGuire, who was the starting catcher in the suspended game, meaning there is a high probability that Jansen will come in to catch. That would not only make him the first player to ever play for both teams in the same game, but if he enters at catcher for the game restart, he have both batted and caught in the same at-bat. I believe the last professional player to play for both teams in the same game was Dale Holman, who did it in AAA in the 1986 season. So I hope this happens, because that would be hilarious. That would be great.
I'm going to quote the Steve Miller Band. That's some funky kicks going down in the city.
Sure is. That sure is. That'd be unbelievable.
That's a box score to cut out and
definitely.
Frame and save.
Absolutely.
You know he will. What I learned, I got up early Saturday morning watching Japan and newest Memphis Grizzlies player, Yuri Kawamura. All 5'8", if he's that. Backcourt mate for Japan, 5'6", if he's that. Grizzlies signed Kawamura to an Exhibit 10 contract, basically two-way to the hustle if he makes the team. NBA not really made for under 6'1" anymore.
No, it is not. But hey, I'm glad you're out there getting us scouting reports on him.
Doing it for the people.
That's right. That's why we can rely on you. What I could have done without today is all of the rumors and nitty gritty on Derek Crochet and what's going on with him. He says that he will not pitch in the playoffs if he does not have a new deal, which, interesting way to go about, conversations right at the deadline.
That really make you popular with your new team.
No, not at all. So now, from reports from people around the league say that some teams have kind of cooled off on him because of this requirement, and so it could definitely make things interesting tomorrow on deadline day. Also, what happens with Tariq Skubal? Nothing so far. Who knows? I mean, I think it's about 50-50. Tigers could keep him and say, let's see what we can do the next couple of years. But also, they could definitely trade him and would probably be one of the biggest names at the deadline if he is moved.
Could have done without the Cardinals dropping 2 of 3 to the lowly Nats, and that's about what they are, Nats. Cardinals 4-3 this year against them, and had to scrap to salvage yesterday's win. Front office in a really tough spot for the Cardinals. Fans demanding it. And that front office knows we can't get together enough to make any October run.
No. And so, that's I did not think. I was a little surprised when I saw that they were wheeling and dealing today, because I thought it was going to be another year. Sit on your hands, not make any moves, because I don't think this team can make it very deep into postseason play. Where are you beaming tonight?
To St. Louis, to a matchup of the 2011 World Series in St. Louis. But the defending champs, the Rangers, reeling and about out of it versus the scuffling Cardinals. Nathan Eovaldi versus Andre Palante, and there will be plenty of tickets available at Busch Stadium tonight.
Yes, there will. Brett, get used to this. Beam me to Paris for the Olympics. A bunch of coverage tonight of everything
canoe
that happened
slalom
today. Oh, sure. Oh, canoe slalom. What upper body strength. I mean,
shooting?
They're whipping around. I'll take whatever you give me, Brett. I love the Olympics, and especially into the early hours for us tomorrow morning. A lot of really good basketball games on the slate, even though USA doesn't play till Wednesday.
12 baseball games today. Already had one game of the doubleheader between the Jays and O's. Yankees at Phillies, 10-5. Luis Gil versus 10-4. Zach Wheeler. Phillies with the best record in baseball.
Yeah, some really good matchups, especially that one. Yankees and Phillies going to be a ton of fun to watch this week. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South to the 10th